DAZN is the home of boxing, with over 150 live fights a year.
It's over! There's no way back from this, surely!
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
How do you like it? How do you like it?
That is unbelievable.
These guys will be legends in their own country, but also in the international basketball world forever.
That is what sport means. That is what the EuroLeague trophy means.
Are you not entertained?
I'm not supposed to be cheering, but this is X Series. I can do whatever I want.
Everything is difficult in this life, so still you need to be on it.
It all comes down to tonight. Don't miss the biggest night in MMA. PFL is more than a fight.
Catching up on any NFL game is easier than ever before.
Looking to the end zone for the win!
Oh my gosh, one of the great games you'll ever see.
The competition is back, and the UEFA Women's Champions League looks set to be bigger and better than ever before.
It's their time. A night to remember.
The following program is recommended for those 16 and over, as it contains sporting violence, possible bad language, and flashing imagery.
We are live from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the city of brotherly love, at the iconic 2300 Arena. But there is no sisterhood between the two women in our main event tonight. LeAnna Cruz taking on Regina Chavez with the interim WBA super flyweight title on the line. Bad blood between Cruz and Chavez in our main event. This is OTX 14.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome. From the four corners of the world, to the four corners of this ring, the fight starts now! How do you like it? Off the shoulder. So aggressive, so focused. Look at these two guys. Still the undisputed champion of the world.
And we welcome you inside the legendary 2300 Arena, the House of Hardcore, the House of Extreme, and we've got a house full of hardcore fight fans here tonight. They are fired up for OTX 14. Hello, everyone. I am Corey Erdman alongside Akin Barak. Pleased to be calling the action for you all night long here from ringside. And guys, this is a true fight city here in Philly. We did a run. We went up the stairs to the Rocky statue a little bit earlier on today. And even standing in this venue, doesn't this seem like one of the locations from one of the early fights in one of the Rocky movies? You just breathe boxing when you step in.
It does. Well, you ran up the stairs, Corey. I crawled. I barely made it, but I did feel like I was in a fight city, and I'm in a historic arena venue today. And this card is so important because it could potentially lead to another OTX fighter being a world champion later this year.
I'm in full agreement with that one right there. I'm going to tell you guys that Philly's probably the only city that I know that you don't actually need fans per se, because each fighter comes with enough supporters from their family and friends to fill a whole venue.
Yeah, they might be fighters also.
Yeah, that's a fact.
An absolutely fantastic fight town, and we've got a fantastic fight card for you here tonight. Let's take a look at what's coming your way here tonight. We're going to kick the action off with the decorated amateur Keith Colon, who's looking to bring the Puerto Rican power in against Robin Ellis. It's West Philadelphia's own Tyreme Haywood in welterweight action as he takes on Frank Brown of San Antonio, Texas. Tamir Smalls, a member of the Boots Ennis camp in Bosie's Dungeon, will take on the well-traveled Clarence Booth in 8-round welterweight action. One of the faces of OTX boxing, Kurt Scooby, is back in action and back in the deep end here tonight as he takes on the Hackman, Haskell Rhodes. And then a terrific-looking co-main event between Philadelphia's own Brandon Pizarro and Israel Mercado, the NABA super lightweight title on the line in this one. And, of course, it is our main event, the interim WBA World Super Flyweight Championship on the line. OTX's own LeAnna Cruz takes on Regina Chavez, who will vie for a world title for the 3rd time. So that's our card for you here tonight, a terrific one from bottom to top. But let's start with that main event between LeAnna Cruz and Regina Chavez. A big opportunity for LeAnna Cruz to become an interim world champion in her hometown, taking on a woman in Regina Chavez who justifiably feels as though she should already be a world champion. But it's also an opportunity for LeAnna Cruz to add to what is already a stacked stable of women's fighters here at OTX, arguably one of the best in the business.
Yeah, and she's not the only one that feels like she's a champion. LeAnna Cruz actually feels like she's fighting a champion because she thinks that she was robbed in that last fight. So she's coming full blast. She even said that this camp has been her best camp when it comes to making weight. So we might see the best LeAnna Cruz yet.
And I think we're going to see the best Regina Chavez yet, because she's already walking around like she's a champion. She walks around with that confidence. She told us in the fighting meetings that LeAnna does more talking than fighting in the ring, and she's going to be in her face all night. So I feel like we're going to get a real competitive fight in the main event tonight.
Yeah, as I alluded to, some unexpected bad blood between Cruz and Chavez. That's our main event, and it should be a good one. Only rivaled by our co-main event between Brandon Pizarro and Israel Mercado. Now, guys, when we were growing up, I'll lump us in to the same age group roughly. You would turn on your TV and you would watch USA Tuesday night fights. It would often be from the Blue Horizon just up the road here in Philadelphia. And there would always be a USBA or an NABF title on the line, and the winner of that main event, you'd always know that's going to be one of the next ones. And this feels like that type of fight, a true Philly TV fight between Pizarro and Mercado, an NABA title on the line. The winner probably becomes world ranked.
You're right about that, and I think there's more at stake for Pizarro. Look, decorated amateur, but nowadays there are a lot of decorated amateurs. He feels like you need to do more. So closed mouths don't get fed. He literally followed the OTX exec around all year last year, trying to get an opportunity at OTX. Tonight is his audition at OTX, and he's looking to impress.
Listen, we really do have 2 main events, and they're both 50-50 fights. You talk about Mercado. I agree with you 100%, Corey. Like, Mercado is very, very experienced in the amateurs. Many, many years ago, he beat Stephen Fulton twice and Elijah Pierce. So this is so much experience, and sometimes you have a guy with so much skill, and experience just closes that gap.
Exactly. Well, I mean, these are 2 guys that have been looking for this type of opportunity. OTX providing it for Pizarro and Mercado here tonight. And OTX just generally does things a little bit differently. And if you haven't tuned in to one of our broadcasts before, let's take a look at some of the overtime rules. First and foremost, there is a monetary bonus if you score a knockout at any point in the fight. If you do so in the first or last round, rounds, well, those are the money rounds. You'll get an added cash bonus, and those money rounds, well, they could be an overtime round. If the scheduled number of rounds ends in a draw, we will go to an overtime round to determine a winner.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's meet our first two fighters here tonight at OTX 14. Please welcome Robin Gravedigger Ellis. And his opponent, Keith Tsunami Colon. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 2300 Arena here in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Live on DAZN, this is OTX 14. We begin the evening 6 rounds in the featherweight division. Your 3 judges scoring this contest at ringside will be Dewey La Rosa, Steve Weisfeld, and Mark Werlinski. The referee in charge, when the bell sounds, is none other than Eric Dolly. Introducing to you first, fighting to my right out of the blue corner. He comes in wearing the black and the lime green. Official weight, 126 pounds. He is a 17-fight veteran going after victory number 7. Hailing from Hempstead, New York. Ladies and gentlemen, here is Robin Gravedigger Ellis. And across the ring, his opponent fighting out of the red corner. He comes in wearing the black trunks trimmed with a Puerto Rican flag. Official weight, 127 pounds. As a young professional, he enters tonight's bout undefeated, 5 wins. All of those coming by way of knockout. Fighting out of Newark, New Eric Dolly here to give instructions.
Okay, gentlemen, you already know the rules. Let me remind you to keep it clean, protect yourself at all times, and obey my commands at all times. Touch gloves. Good luck to both.
Ladies and gentlemen, if a fighter gets a knockout in this round, they'll take home some extra cash. The money round starts now. To stop to this contest for your winner by technical knockout and still undefeated, Keith Tsunami Colon. Please welcome Frank Bloodhound Brown. Mobenga Haywood.
Of this year, and listen, his trainer, and the man backing him, excuse me, Brian Cohen, his manager, came up to us twice already today to tell us, hey, watch out for this one. Yeah. Watch out for Tyreme Haywood. There's a lot of buzz here in Philly and in the Philly gyms about Mobenga.
Oh, we're watching him for sure. Yeah, what do you make of this performance? So I'm not really understanding what the artist is saying on this walkout.
I'm not even paying attention to that. No, I'm just kidding. But you hear that all the time. You hear it all the time from managers and trainers. Hey, look out for my guy, whatever, since we're the ones talking about him. But there's certain people that when they say look out for somebody, I respect that, and I have to look out. And Brian Cohen just happens to be one of them.
Definitely one of them.
Ladies and gentlemen, the action continues here at OTX 14 here at 2300 Arena in Philadelphia. We now have 4 rounds in the welterweight division. Your 3 judges scoring this contest will be Lynn Carter, Robert Rumpnitz, and Mark Werlinski. The referee in charge when the bell sounds is none other than Ricky Gonzalez. Introducing to you first, fighting to my right out of the blue corner. He comes in wearing the purple and the black. Official weight, 147 pounds. Tonight, he enters the ring for a 17th time, joining us from San Antonio, Texas. Ladies and gentlemen, here is Frank Bloodhound Brown. And across the ring, his adversary fighting out of the red corner. He comes in wearing the silver and the green, weighing in officially at 148 pounds. He is perfect as a professional, 5 wins, all of those coming inside the distance. Proudly representing West Philadelphia, PA. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the undefeated Tyreme Mobenga Haywood. Ricky Gonzalez here to give instructions.
Gentlemen, you received your instructions in the dressing room. I expect a good, clean fight. Protect yourselves at all times. Obey my commands at all times. Touch them up.
We are set to go 4 rounds in the welterweight division. Tyreme Haywood hoping to keep his knockout streak alive, just like Keith Colon did, as he takes on Frank Brown, the 31-year-old from San Antonio, who, as we referenced, has made a career out of breaking knockout streaks, like the last time he was here in Philadelphia when he tested the undefeated Ismail Muhammad, who remains undefeated to this day at 8-0.
Haywood already tested his chin with a quick check left hook as soon as the fight started.
He didn't want to touch gloves either in the beginning.
Nope.
With Brown, but he just means business right now. Mobenga.
Left hook to the body.
Oh, spit it.
That has paralyzed Frank Brown.
There's no way he can get up from that.
Oh my God, what a left hook to the body.
That might have been the second punch he landed.
That is it. You won't see many body shot knockouts better than that one.
No, that was the hardest body shot I've seen in a long time.
It was very smart to throw it early because guys are not expecting a shot that hard early in the fight.
Is it safe to say that Brian Cohen was correct?
He was most most certainly correct.
The kid is dangerous. Very.
What a shot from Tyree Haywood.
Beautifully landed left hook to the midsection.
Listen, you know a body shot knockout was good when it produces this reaction in the arena. Sometimes body shots, the crowd can't quite see them. They don't react quite the same way as if you land a headshot and score a knockout. Everyone in this building could see and hear and maybe feel that shot.
And that's what it is, because you could hear it throughout the entire arena.
That's
it was so hard.
That actually sounded like a headshot. It was so loud.
That sounded like a gunshot.
Well, guess what? That was the money round. Woo! Bonus time. I mean, he looked like he jumped up and fell down.
Let's take a look back at this one.
Oh, perfectly timed. Oh, in between shots is the best. When a fighter doesn't see the shot coming, boom, and it lands. Took everything out of him. He spit the mouthpiece out immediately, and the referee waved.
I think we should get a bonus for calling the first knockout round.
We got 2 knockouts already.
Tyree Haywood and his camp, they're dancing the way that you dance when you know someone's about to hand you a duffel bag full of cash.
Philly is loving this.
Let's take a look at the punch stats for this one. That's all that matters.
Yes.
2-0.
And I said that too. I said, I think that's the second shot he landed.
That's right.
My God.
Brock working overtime as CompuBox operator as he calls fights here tonight. What a performance from Tyree Haywood. I believe that's going to be pinned to the top of his IG for a little while.
It should, rightfully so, it should be. That was a great body shot. He's still holding his rib section.
All right, we're ready to make this one official. Let's send it back up to Ray Flores.
Ladies and gentlemen, the end comes at 44 seconds of our opening round. In the money round, this man victorious by knockout and taking home some extra cash, remaining undefeated, Tyree Mobenga Haywood.
So Mobenga Tyree Haywood with a memorable body shot knockout over Frank Brown. And it has netted him the bag of cash, the knockout in the money round.
That's a nice incentive right there. Bag full of money. Do you check that bag or is that a carry-on?
That looks like it could be carry-on size.
I'll have to carry that on.
I'm not putting that in cargo.
No way.
What a night for Tyree Haywood in front of his hometown fans here in Philadelphia. And I suspect we're going to be seeing more of Mobenga. Well, coming up next, we have our second welterweight contest of the night. Philadelphia's own Tamir Smalls, the 14-0 contender, taking on the 21-11 Mr. St. Pete, Clarence Booth. That's coming up next. The sun is set here in Philadelphia. 2 straight knockouts to start our night at the 2300 Arena. Could we potentially see a third? 2 guys who could crack in this one as we take a look at the tail of the tape for our next contest in the 147-pound division. Tamir Smalls taking on Clarence Booth. You see the measurables. Tamir Smalls with a height and reach advantage in this one. Smalls had some difficulty making weight in this one, which means that Smalls fighting a little bit heavier than he's used to, but Clarence Booth having to come up and fight a little heavier than he's used to as well. We'll see how that factors into this contest, but Tamir Smalls really knocking on the door of contention. A win tonight would be a big one for him, and we are ready to meet the fighters as we send it back up to Ray Flores.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's meet our next 2 combatants. First, we welcome Clarence, Mr. St. Pete Booth.
Well, here comes Mr. St. Pete, the 37-year-old Clarence Booth. And when you hear St. Pete, you hear boxing, you think Winky Wright, you think Keith Thurman. Clarence Booth, a man who has been around both of those legends for a long period of time. But the question for Clarence Booth coming into this one is 2 fights ago, after his loss to Omar Juarez, he decided that he was going to walk away from the sport. Now, he changed his mind. He came back for another fight in between this one. The question is, even as we see him smiling all the way to the ring, can you reignite that flame on a stage like this tonight?
It seems like it's reigniting already just by the smile on his face. He seems to be very, very happy. You know, but he didn't get 1 clap at all when he came out. Not 1 clap.
Well, he's in
and to be
Philadelphia.
smiling like that, I think he regained a little bit of that happiness.
Yeah, and sometimes when your bank account starts to get low, you have to reignite that flame in this sport.
And his opponent, Tamir Smalls.
Well, here comes Tamir Smalls. You saw on the graphic a moment ago that he had sparred what he describes as thousands of rounds with Jaron Boudzenis, who will be moving up to 154 pounds. I'm sure everyone has seen the news, but Tamir Smalls trains out of Philly's Next Champ Boxing Gym, which most people know as Bosie's Dungeon, rapidly becoming one of the best collections of talent anywhere in the country.
Not just collection of talent, but it's a place where people from out of state want to come visit and to get some of that pad work and get some of that, you know, that energy that's in that particular gym.
Yeah, not only the pad work, the sparring work. I mean, champions go there to get that work.
Ladies and gentlemen, the action continues here at OTX 14 here in Philadelphia, PA. We now have 8 rounds in the welterweight division. Your 3 judges scoring this contest at ringside are Bernard Brunei, Lynn Carter, and Steve Weisfeld. When the bell sounds, the man in charge inside the squared circle, referee Eric Daly. Introducing first, fighting to my right out of the blue corner. He comes in wearing the black trimmed with the orange. Official weight, 148 pounds. His professional record, an outstanding one. 21 wins, 14 of those coming by way of knockout against 11 defeats. Joining us from St. Petersburg, Florida. Ladies and gentlemen, here is Clarence, Mr. St. Pete Booth. And across the ring, out of the red corner, his opponent. He comes in wearing the black, orange, and the white. Official weight, 158 pounds. As a professional, he is undefeated. 14 wins, including 10 of those coming by way of a knockout. Proudly hailing from right here in Philadelphia, PA. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the undefeated Tamir Smalls. Eric Dolly here to give instructions.
Okay, gentlemen, you already know the rules. Let me remind you to keep it clean, protect yourself at all times, obey my commands at all times. Touch gloves. Good luck.
We are set to go with this one. Tamir Smalls and Clarence Booth. 8 rounds in the welterweight division. See Tamir Smalls in the Philadelphia Flyers colors. And Clarence Booth, well, he kind of is too, but his trumps are more black than Tamir Smalls.
Looks much bigger than Booth.
As we mentioned, Smalls came in overweight for this contest.
2 different weight classes here. I like Booth is moving his head a little bit, keeping his head off the line. You're dealing with a taller, bigger guy. Can't stand right on that center line.
Well, you're talking about a guy that has 32 fights. The experience is there with Booth. This is not going to be an easy outing for Smalls. Good test, though.
Well, that size difference might just end up making it an easy outing.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll definitely as this round progresses. Good right hand to the body by Smalls.
Good inside work here from Smalls. He tries to wrap that right hand around the guard of Clarence Booth, who is phenomenally durable, and that's why he gets assignments like this as frequently as he does.
And I like the fact that Smalls is going to the body early, because when you fight a guy that has that high guard up high, you have to find a way to bring that guard down, and you do it with body attack early.
It's a good chopping right hand from Smalls a moment ago.
He hasn't thrown a punch, and I'm talking about Booth in a while. Maybe he was stunned by one of those shots. Whenever he does get hit, even if he's not landing flush, his body moves.
Again, you can see this size differential, that you guys pointed out, and Smalls is taking advantage of it. He's going to the inside more often than he normally would, and just bullying Booth here on the inside. Nice double left hook. There's a nice uppercut first to the body of Clarence Booth, and another chopping right hand that backs Booth up.
And he tries, Clarence, to land a sneaky little right, 1-2 there. So I think that jab, as Smalls' corner is letting him know to let the jab go, let the jab set things up.
Yeah, something's going on with Booth. His balance is not there. Maybe one of those shots rattled him, and he hasn't recovered fully yet.
I agree with you, Rob.
Yeah, I've noticed the same thing. The back leg of Booth has been a little unsteady more than once already.
Maybe caught cold and hasn't recovered yet.
Inside the final 30 seconds of round 1. This is the money round. Cash bonus, like you saw. Mubanga just cash. If either of these men could score a knockout here in round 1.
Goes to show you how effective that incentive is in these OTX fights. These fighters really tried to end the fight in the first round, as Smalls is doing here.
Booth looking a little unsteady again. He's riding with some of these shots, but that is a good sequence from Tamir Smalls to wrap up the round.
I think Booth really reacted to that last left hook to the body from Smalls. And see, most of the round, Smalls was actually showing patience. Throwing hard shots, but picking the right shots.
Yeah. Good, solid attack in the first round.
underway. Excellent start for Tamir Smalls here against Clarence Booth. Looked like he had Booth somewhere between being unsteady like this or in genuine trouble, but Booth has not looked right since the opening round, Barack.
Yeah, his balance is just not there. I don't know if he came into the fight this way or one of those shots in the first round just still lingering. The unstableness is still lingering.
You know, Barack, as I watch Smalls move around, it's almost like you can tell what stable he's from. You know, something about that Bozy dungeon, they all have a similar, I wouldn't say style, but something about the way they move.
No, it is a similar style where you walk your opponent down, putting the weight on your on your front foot.
Yeah, and obviously, you know, world champion Jerome Boots Ennis is leading that charge in that group.
And of course, Boots is in Smalls' corner as well. There he is. There's Boots.
And you know what I like about Jerome, when he comes and supports fighters from his gym, he's very vocal. You know, he'll give instructions.
What a shot, and down goes Clarence Booth. And he is not, again, we were speculating about maybe a leg injury. Clarence Booth is having trouble standing up right now, and that is it. Tamir Smalls cashes the knockout bonus here in round 2.
Equilibrium shot. Wow. Those are some heavy shots from the first round on. Booth was trying to say back of the head, but I didn't catch that. Maybe we'll see in the replay.
I mean, it just looked like he was doomed from the beginning in this bout.
And I like, you mentioned Boots in the corner of Smalls, and I feel like that's just the energy of Philly, you know. Most Philly fighters, if you're in town, you come out. I see Danny Garcia at many, many fights.
Very supportive city.
Well, to that point, Brock, Stephen Fulton was talking about Tamir Smalls in an interview last year, and he said Tamir Smalls is special. He's different. He said he's got his own style, his own swag. He's going to be a wrecking ball, and that's high praise, of course, coming from Cool Boy.
Yes, but we do got to see even playing fields.
Yeah.
You know, it's definitely 2 different weight classes tonight. He's a big kid. We got to see him in there with somebody his own size. But we saw some good work today.
I mean, to his credit, he did what he was supposed to do with what was in front of him.
Yeah.
And to put it into context, you know, Tamir Smalls staying busy with this kind of fight. We've seen him in tough. We've seen him here on DAZN when he fought Shontorius Martin. That was the main event of Red Owl Boxing, a real 50-50 fight. So he's been in with other prospects, tested, and tonight obviously showing that he's ready for another step up.
No question. I'm looking forward to seeing what's next for him in a step-up fight.
All right, looks like we are ready to make this one official as we hand it back to Ray Flores.
Ladies and gentlemen, the end comes at 1 minute, 26 seconds of the second round. For your winner by knockout from right here in Philadelphia, Tamir Smalls.
So Tamir Smalls at now 15-0, that being the 11th knockout of his professional career. Clarence Booth, historically a tough man to stop, but Tamir Smalls did not have any difficulty with him whatsoever here tonight. Let's take a look back at some of the highlights. An easy night's work for Tamir Smalls.
One-sided fight by the bigger man, the bigger, the stronger man. The punches were just on point. Like I said, he was picking the shots. Even when he was throwing barrages, the shots were actually hitting the target.
And that definitely wasn't
And that was a sneaky right hand. It didn't seem like it had that much of effect. And he had to go back down on the knee because he really didn't have any equilibrium left.
Let me take a look back at the CompuBox punch stats from this one. See Tamir Smalls outthrowing Clarence Booth 105-44. He saw the opportunity to bully Booth in this fight and just overwhelmed him. outlanding him 38-12. Of course, it was that sweeping shot at the end that flattened Clarence Booth that closed the show.
Yeah, that's a lot of punches to land in less than 2 rounds. 38 clean shots.
Well, coming up next, we have our first 10-rounder of the night, a familiar face. OTX's own Kurt Scooby takes on OKC's very own Hackman Haskell Rhodes.
The Zone, the undisputed global home of boxing, where the greatest fighters take center stage, with fights every week and over 185 a year. And now, the mighty Queensberry joins over 30 worldwide promoters to up the ante like never before, with the best of the best.
The biggest nights.
There's no limits to what's possible. Nobody brings you closer to the action. Because if the fight is on, it's on The Zone, the global home of boxing.
Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. 3 fights, 3 early knockouts here on OTX 14. 3 men heading to the bank with those knockout bonuses. But we've got a good-looking matchup here coming up next in the 140-pound division, a man you're quite familiar with if you've been following Overtime Boxing. Kurt Scooby, the 16-1 prospect verging on contention tonight, taking on Haskell Rhodes, a man who has kind of been the determining factor for many fighters as to whether or not they would graduate from prospect to contender. We take a look at the measurables. Scooby enjoying a height advantage, but not a reach advantage here tonight, and the experience very much in the corner of Haskell Rhodes, who's looking to spring the upset here against Kurt Scooby.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Haskell Hackman Rhodes.
But here comes the Hackman, Haskell Rhodes, with the same entrance music as Arturo Gatti, maybe a little ode to one of boxing's great warriors. And Haskell Rhodes, one of the great litmus tests in the sport of boxing today. We last saw him dropping a 10-round decision to lightweight prospect Joshua Pagan in the main event of big-time boxing in Puerto Rico in October of last year. He took that fight, in his words, literally off the couch, did not go on one run, had no training camp, still managed to go the distance with Josh Pagan. The question is, what can a version of Haskell Rhodes do, who seems to be reinvigorated, has had a training camp tonight against Kurt Scooby?
Well, he definitely confirmed with us that this one is not off the couch, so he's going to be in way better shape. So we'll see. He has a chance to prove it tonight.
I mean, he said he could do 10 rounds off the couch anyway. Yes. You know, his wife support him. She's his promoter.
But can he win off the couch?
That's the thing. That's the test.
Well, as we mentioned, looking to spoil what has been a redemption tale for Kurt Scooby. Let's take a closer look at Scooby.
What should my fans expect this time around? Just understanding that the grind never stops. It's all money in, like I always say. If you're bringing action, yeah, it's time.
Well, I'm a natural fighter in life, so I'm a leader, I'm a motivator. He ain't got to be scared of nothing. He's going to see what's up. That's it.
All money in, baby!
And now, ladies and gentlemen, his opponent, Kurt Scooby Scott.
spooky sounds welcoming Kurt Scooby into the arena, the 2300 arena. Of course, it is Friday the 13th, but Kurt Scooby is not looking to relive the nightmare that was his loss to Dakota Linger here on OTX. Since then, guys, we've watched all of his fights from here ringside. We've called the fights, and we've seen a little bit of a reinvention, a new trainer, a little bit of a different style, and a brighter personality out of Kurt Scooby as well.
Yeah, he admitted to overlooking Dakota Linger. I mean, he said that I actually took him lightly. And I know oftentimes, fighters use that as an excuse, but, I tend to believe Scooby on that because of what we've seen since then.
And sometimes fighters don't ever talk about specifically what they add to their game, but he did. And he says, I have defense now. And that should be a big difference in every fight.
Well, guys,
ladies and gentlemen, the action continues here in Philadelphia, PA, as OTX 14 resumes. We now have 10 rounds in the super lightweight division. Your 3 judges scoring this contest at ringside will be Bernard Brunim, Dewey LaRosa, and Steve Weisfeld. The referee in charge when the bell sounds is Ricky Gonzalez. Introducing to you first, fighting out of the blue corner. He comes in wearing the colors of the Western Conference champion, Oklahoma City Thunder, weighing officially at 140 pounds. His record includes 31 wins, 16 of those coming by way of knockout, opposite 7 losses and 1 draw. Fighting out of Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Haskell Hackman Rhodes. And across the ring, his opponent fighting out of the red corner, adorned in the black and the gray, weighing officially at 141 pounds. His record near perfect, 16 wins, 14 of those coming by way of knockout against a single defeat. Fighting out of Duarte, California. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Kurt Scooby. And your referee in charge here to give instructions, Ricky Gonzalez.
Gentlemen, you received your instructions in the dressing room. I expect a good, clean fight. Protect yourselves at all times. Obey my commands at times. Touch them up.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's now time for the money round. If a fighter gets a knockout or TKO in this round, they'll take home.
So we are set to go 10 rounds in the 140-pound division. Kurt Scooby taking on Haskell Rhodes. Of note here tonight, we mentioned the new trainer for Kurt Scooby, that being Hector Bermudez, where Scooby now lives with Bermudez in the firehouse. However, Bermudez not in his corner here tonight. His understudy and former fighter himself, Mark DeLuca, is in his corner here tonight. So we'll see if that will have any effect on Scooby here tonight as they trade jabs to open up round 1.
Well, I haven't said anything about the fashion yet today, but I like Scoob's boots. They almost look like black Air Force Ones, a version of those, if I'm not mistaken.
Definitely modeled after that. I like to see the defense that Scooby's going to show us tonight. He just slipped the jab because he got caught earlier.
Little feint there.
So Rhodes for a couple right hands on the inside.
Yeah, Rose is no slouch. He's been in there with guys like Schofield and Lipinets, lost to those guys, but he seems to be a very, very smart fighter. He understands the game. In the fighters meeting, he explained what he thought was all of the shortcomings of Kurt Scooby.
I mean, talking about a guy with almost 40 fights, 39 fights. I mean, there's a certain level of experience, and a lot of those wins, most of them. It's not a walk in the park as he lands a right hand on the side of Scooby's head.
A sneaky jab there from Scooby at the same time. Scooby fires his own right hand. Backs the Hackman up, caught glove, but you can just see the weight of the punches of Scooby, the physical strength. Starting to move Rhodes around a little bit. Nice heavy jab as well.
You know, Rhodes told us that he felt that Kurt was green at times, and he still sees that in the ring in certain decisions that he makes, like little nuances that he's noticed.
And maybe he's noticing a couple of new nuances
yes,
now.
especially inside the ring.
Right, like catching some of those shots instead of getting hit with shots he might have gotten hit with before, just thinking about offense.
And Kurt looks like the stronger man immediately. It's visible as this fight starts. Even not landing shots, but moving balls around.
Nice right hand there from Scooby, getting there first. Now brings a chopping right hand down as well.
I wouldn't be surprised if Rhodes would get dropped with a jab, because this jab is looking really, really strong from Scooby.
And that one, that's what led to that clean 1-2 landing. That was perfectly placed, and it started from landing the jab and getting your distance, which is something that he's obviously added to his repertoire as of late.
Rhodes says that Scooby tends to think a lot in there. He doesn't look that way tonight. He does look like he's doing what Rhodes says he doesn't do, and that's flow.
And let me add that this is a thinking man's sport.
See Rhodes looking for that counter right hand a moment ago. And that'll do it for the opening round. As we head back to the corners, and as mentioned, Mark DeLuca in Scooby's corner here tonight.
You're heavy on the one. He's a little elusive, right? Because he's the first couple rounds, right? So he's a little elusive. You got to keep the 9 on.
I think I want to see Coach Scooby go to the body. You know, go to the body, because Rhodes is not a slouch. He understands the game. He knows what to do in there. He is not going to get hit by every shot. So those 1-2s are not landing clean all the time. Go to that body. Set up the shots upstairs. Make him look for body shots and then come up top.
Round 2 underway. Good start for Kurt Scooby here against the 37-year-old veteran Haskell Rhodes. And, you know, building on the point that we were making in the opening round, Scooby kind of echoed some of the criticism that was levied towards him in the early stages of his career. He said, hey, listen, I was just an athlete before. Now I am a boxer.
Right. And,
well said.
Credit to him to, taking this veteran on. I mean, he pretty much told us that he begged to be on this card. He wanted to stay busy and stay active, even though there are other fights down the line. He said, no, I want to fight on this Philly card, and here we are.
He's definitely showing me some new looks. You know, I like that he's catching shots now, and I think maybe Mark DeLuca told him exactly what I was saying earlier, is go to the body, because he came out through 3 jabs to the body.
And he just landed
the 4th one.
And he just landed 2 jabs to the head and then 1 to the body. So, I mean, obviously the most important punch in boxing is just so underused at times. But Kurt is definitely using it today very well.
Rhodes talking to Scooby, as he has been since the early going.
But not doing too much talking with his fists. I mean, he's throwing punches, but not landing much.
Well, this is what we often see in fights, where Rhodes maybe isn't at his best. What he's able to do no matter what is be a little bit of a disruptor. He's not going to let you do exactly what you want to do in each and every round. And even already, I'm sure he's showing Scooby things that maybe he hasn't thought about before.
Right. Which will make Scooby a better fighter should he get past this test.
Well, when Rhodes throw the jab, I like it because it can land, and it has landed. And I also like his lateral movements right now, because it's causing Scooby to reset. See, there's the jab.
Great jab, landed up.
Good right hand as well. That heavy left hook, again, caught by Rhodes, but you just see the weight of these shots kind of visibly moving the feet of Rhodes when they do land, or not land, when they hit something.
Because Rhodes he's blocking it partially, and he's rolling with it, and that's why I say Scooby, go to the body.
And speaking of blocking, Scooby's also catching Rhodes' looping right hand. He caught it several times, so he's bringing that guard up right away. Great work in the gym that they're putting in up there.
interesting decision here for Rhodes. He's starting to work a little bit on the inside.
Yeah. Good combo landed by Scooby there, looping right and hook.
That one too. You know, Scooby got in there.
I like to mention what Barack mentioned earlier. I like to see Scooby go to the body more. He hasn't went to the body yet effectively, and maybe that'll slow Rhodes down.
Closing moments here of round 2. Good action in that final minute.
I think that shot, the shot that's open is the left hook, right up the body, right up the middle.
Scooby.
Let me take a look at the punch stats thus far. You see Haskell Rhodes actually outthrowing Kurt Scooby to this point. Landed shots fairly even as well. As expected, Haskell Rhodes giving good competitive rounds to Kurt Scooby already.
Oh, definitely a close fight. Maybe the harder punches, not maybe, but the harder punches are coming from Scooby because they're actually shifting the body of Rhodes, you know, but Rhodes is touching him.
Begins. Interesting shift in strategy from Haskell Rhodes there in the second round. Starting to work on the inside a little bit, and that's where a guy like Rhodes could show some of those veteran intricacies, those little tricks on the inside. Even though Scooby is the bigger, more physical fighter, Rhodes has a pretty extensive background in grappling and wrestling as well. He can hold his own on the inside and had a little success there last round.
Right. I agree with you to some degree, Corey, because even when they're in the clinch and they're working on the inside, Scooby's, to me, is doing more of the damage because Rhodes' body is not stable. He moves. As soon as Scooby lands a couple of shots on the inside, he's ready to get out of the kitchen.
He's smiling now, talking to Scooby. I think he's doing a psychological game, which is part of the fight game, because as he mentioned to us in the fighting meetings, he's looking at Scooby as a guy who's questioning himself. After the loss to Dakota Linger, one fight after that, going down to 135, he's saying that, okay, I'm scared of these guys at 140. That's what he think is going through Scooby's head.
He mentioned that, but Scooby's body language is not saying that at all.
Of course. Good jab. That's the jab I was talking about earlier from Scooby.
Scooby's definitely the twitchier, sharper fighter here tonight, and he's landing a lot more jabs than people realize here. I'm watching it very closely.
Scooby winding up that pull counter right hand.
And it missed, but he should have followed that up with a left hook because the head was there.
And you know, Rhodes was out of place there, so he could have even lunged in with that left hook.
Yep.
It's a shame we don't have the fighters mic'd up because I feel like following this dialogue would be pretty entertaining. It is ongoing.
What he's saying is, Rhodes is saying, I'm right here. He's trying to say that you're not really hitting me flush. I'm right here. And you still can't hit me.
Yeah, but he's getting touched. Absolutely. And this sport right here is judged by rounds, so even if you're there, you're losing the rounds, buddy.
But that's the thing. He's just playing that psychological game, trying to throw the fighter that he feels is green off a little bit, trying to take his confidence away from him.
And a fighter who he thinks may be lacking confidence or is struggling to get it back.
It's not working today, so far.
But see, I'm going to tell you how you know that he's taking Scooby seriously because he's going for every fight.
He's hurt.
Still smiling, still stroking jump to Scooby, but was very hurt by that right now.
Referee's watching closely, saved by the bell. Perfectly timed right hand and placed.
I was going to say that's one way to stop Haskell Rhodes from talking, but that didn't actually accomplish that.
No, he's not. He's not stopping.
I tell you what,
he might be talking, but he gave him a mouthful, Scooby right here with that straight right hand.
Perfectly landed shot And I tell you guys, I can't say this enough. It's about distance, right? When you start to land a jab, those right hands are going to land right on the button because you're at the right distance.
Yeah, he caught him at the end of that. The end of that shot. It was beautiful. Fans are loving it.
Back to action here. Haskell Rhodes, not an easy man to drop, and certainly not an easy man to stop. But Kurt Scooby looking dangerous here already. And he is hunting Rhodes down here at the beginning of round 4.
Now he's going to the body, Barack, and Rhodes is talking a little less at the beginning of this round.
Yeah, just
a lot less.
Just still got to be careful in there. You don't want to take an unnecessary shot yourself.
Obviously, the respect has been gained since that last round.
Yeah, I think Rhodes is he was just taunting him because he wants to take away his confidence because he knew, like I said before, he's going for all of these feints because he's feeling the power of Scooby.
You see, even in these moments, guys, the development of Scooby. You know, in the past, obviously, we've seen him hurt fighters before, and Kurt Scooby in the previous era, going after guys, could look a little bit out of control. It was brute force. Right now, there's a lot of thought being put into what he's doing in pursuit of Haskell Rhodes.
Right, he's being defensively minded as well as unleashing the offense.
Great body attack. And you know, Barack, you said it earlier, oftentimes fighters will say, yeah, I'm getting better, I'm working on things. Like, you can literally see it every single fight with Kurt Scooby.
He's not ashamed to tell you what he needed to work on, and what's going to be different. If a fighter was already confident about their offense, and then all of a sudden you make them a defensive fighter as well, their confidence goes through the roof.
Absolutely. Another stiff jab landed by Kurt.
Nice counter right hand and a left hook right behind it. And that's a shot that you were looking for too, Barack, just coming behind the right hand, wiping the table, so to speak, with the left hook.
Yes. Right in that exchange, Rhodes landed a couple of body shots, but didn't face Kurt Scooby at all.
Oh, good. Did you see that?
Great slip hook to the body.
And then he went to the body with the left hook and just got another one. That's boxing Kurt Scooby. Not just letting your hands go.
Sometimes you need to get good at simple things and it'll take you so far. In this era of the new flashy, young pack of fighters.
Closing in on the final 10 seconds of this round.
I think Scooby just needs to stick to the game plan now. Don't get too laxed because you show that you can hurt Rhodes. Because Rhodes is a veteran.
And a good counter right hand to the body there. Right before the bell did Rhodes as we head back into the corners. Another good round overall for Kurt Scooby. And certainly his family will be excited. There they are, seated ringside. We believe this is the first time that Kurt Scooby's child has been allowed in a venue to see Dad fight. So a special moment for the Scooby family.
I didn't notice that. You're absolutely right. We're always seeing him behind the scenes being carried, and now he's actually watching his father fight.
And he's not disappointed in his son so far.
I don't know. We need to go over there and ask his son who he thinks is winning. What's his scorecard say?
It's round 5 underway. Kurt Scooby and Haskell Rhodes. Scooby's had Rhodes on the canvas already, which again is a relatively rare occurrence. Haskell Rhodes, an incredibly durable veteran, kind of a bit of a gym legend in Nevada. If you think of anyone between about 130 and 154 that has ever been in the state of Nevada, Haskell Rhodes has probably sparred with him. Most notably, many rounds with Floyd Mayweather, as he once trained with Floyd Sr.
And as of late, he sparred Teofimo Lopez, Devin Haney, Liam Barrow. He gets that work in with the best of them.
Scooby corner right now yelling, you see everything, you see what's coming.
It's because he's also a defensive fighter now. It's pretty great. And Rhodes is trying to, get him into a firefight, probably hoping that he can land something, because he's trying to be a little bit more aggressive here.
If Kurt, can get to the point where he would score a stoppage against Rhodes, it'd be big. He's only been stopped once in 6 years ago.
Yes.
Took on the inside there from Rhodes.
Might have been caught by the glove, I'm not sure. Walked in with a nice jab.
Drive-by jab there from Kurt Scooby.
Good move on his side. And, when we're talking about Kurt's technical ability and how much better he has gotten, but his condition is phenomenal as well. I haven't seen him take a deep breath yet in this fight.
And I think Rhodes was banking on that. Rhodes was thinking on, just getting a little bit more tired, especially by this 5th round. And I think maybe that's what Kurt is doing. He's preserving his energy. Just jabbing, not, picking his shots.
Yeah, not wasting.
A little bit smarter.
Being economical with it.
Because as it showed, he already showed that it only takes one shot.
Well, no doubt that was a part of Haskell Rhodes' game plan here tonight, that if he could just slow things down and get Scooby into the second half of the fight, then perhaps there'd be some opportunities that open up. But Scooby has looked as relaxed as Rhodes hoped he would be in this fight. As Scooby jumps in with a left hook, partially blocked. We will head back to the corners.
Scooby walked back to the corner.
Right before that leaping left hook was a feint.
Yep.
That set up that hook.
Well, Jake Paul returns to the ring on June 28th when he'll take on Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. in a cruiserweight bout that will be broadcast live on DAZN pay-per-view. The undercard also includes a unified cruiserweight title fight between Zurdo Ramirez and Uniel Dorticos. That's exclusively on DAZN pay-per-view. All smiles in the corner of Kurt Scooby. Tonight's trainer, Mark DeLuca. Mark has become somewhat of an understudy of the aforementioned Hector Bermudez. And DeLuca, with his own fighting background, with a military background, just watching him here in the corner, he seems to have the right temperament of a communicator, of a leader. I'm liking the energy in Scooby's corner at the moment.
Seems like they're connected, and he can stay calm because they're connected, and he's a smart guy. He knows what to say. I think he's giving them the right advice.
Blood starting to cover the trunks of Haskell Rhodes. I believe some blood coming from his nose that was treated in the corner.
Look, we're in round 6, guys, and I'll tell you the most important punch of this fight so far is control has been Scoob's jab. Everything has come from that. And if you see Rhodes' left eye is already swollen shut, almost shut.
What I like about this is that Scooby is showing that he can control the pace of the round without just being overly offensive like he normally would be.
Like you said, picking his shots.
And listen, I think we could go so far as to speculate this is a broken nose. When you look at the swelling underneath both of Rhodes' eyes, the blood that's coming out of the nose right now, that is probably a busted nose.
Yeah, and that's probably from the solid power jabs that are being landed throughout this entire fight.
Right, and even the smile of Rhodes looks a little bit different. It just has a little bit discouragement written on top.
Different type of smile.
Nice right hand there from Scooby, and that one backs Rhodes up. He felt that one for sure.
And it was a nice pullback one, too. Step back, created some space, and landed it.
One thing Rhodes knows how to do is he knows how to fight. He knows how to stay on his feet. You know, and he feels like he has these veteran tricks that Scooby's never seen before.
Well, none of them are working so far. So credit to Scooby for dealing with this test. Yeah.
Good left hook there from Scooby, and that's a pattern that he's picked up on. Rhodes kind of slipping to his right to try and turn the corner, trying to hold on, and he's meeting him with that left hook, throwing it downwards as he throws that right hand downwards, a chopping shot that sprays blood across the ring.
He's hurt. He's hurt.
Rhodes is in serious trouble now. The legs are wobbly. The blood is flowing. Scooby is bloodthirsty as he hammers away at the Hackman.
I think it's called amnesia. You know, grab that right time.
I agree.
I see it on his face. He's had enough. Tough kid. He's not gonna stop.
Absolutely.
Somebody needs to save him.
And I think the ref is looking close.
Kurt Scooby hunting for the knockout here tonight. What a result this would be for Kurt Scooby, the Hackman, in serious trouble. Absorbing some more body punishment. And his corner is going to have some serious decisions to make right now.
I'm not sure if he gets out the corner and gets off the stool, Corey. The doctor has to be coming up there to look at him.
Well, if that's the case, I highly doubt it will be the decision of Rhodes himself.
Oh, no way. No way.
I tell you what, Kurt Scooby's head trainer Bermudez is, I think, in Belgium somewhere, and if he's watching, he has to be extremely proud of his fighter tonight. As I said.
And that is it. This one will be waved off. The correct decision in the corner of Haskell Rhodes, a proud veteran that needed to be saved from himself here tonight. Kurt Scooby, just too much. What a performance.
Team Rhodes was not going to stop that fight. I saw a little veteran move by his trainer. He untied his right sneaker so that, you know, to give his fight a little bit more time, the referee would have noticed that and said, hey, tie your shoes.
A dominant win for Kurt Scooby. And listen, Brock, all week long, you were hearing the whispers of, hey, is this Dakota Linger 2.0? Same type of matchup. The veteran with a record with some losses on it, who can throw in high volume when he's at his best. But tonight, Kurt Scooby just had every answer for the old vet in Haskell Rhodes.
But those whispers were coming from you.
I heard them from other people.
And a couple of other people as well. And you know what? I understood those whispers, you know, but I also understood that you got a man that really went back to the drawing board. And that's what a loss can do to you, and that's what it did. Like, Bermudez is just a scientist. I've had long conversations with him. He knows exactly where he went wrong, and he knows what to do, and he made the proper adjustments. Very evident tonight.
We see the old veteran Haskell Rhodes giving Kurt Scooby some advice.
Yeah, I think
take a look back at this.
I think he was probably telling him, you know, wow, you know, you did things differently. You know, caught him with that beautiful right hand. Yeah. But I think he surprised him tonight, and not just with the power, because everybody knows he has power, but with the defense, with the pace that he set, which was very surprising, and that jab was phenomenal. All of these shots is bad intentions, but he was already hurt by this point in the fight. Rhodes wasn't going to give up, though, and the referee stopped the fight. Great fight.
All right, we are ready to make this one official, so let's send it back up to Ray Flores.
Ladies and gentlemen, the corner of Haskell Rhodes deems him unable to continue at the end of the 6th round. For your winner by technical knockout, Kurt Scooby.
Scooby picks up the 17th win of his professional career, one of the most impressive ones on his resume thus far. The double tough Haskell Rhodes, not an easy guy to stop, but Kurt Scooby overwhelmed him here tonight.
This was literally the perfect fight, the perfect night for Scooby, because you got a guy that's experienced and you got rounds in doing what you practiced in the gym, something different.
All right, we are going to hear from Scooby, who is standing by with Ak.
First off, Kurt, phenomenal performance. Congratulations. How do you rate your performance tonight? Because this is the best I've ever seen you.
First of all, I want to take a moment to how many people know I'm going through a lot, you know what I mean? And as a man, and as a public figure, you have to put on this tough man. Man, I've been going through so much, but I just want to say thank you to Renaissance Recovery. They've been helping me so much with just my mental health, you know what I mean? If you need help, please get it. Because if you just talk, man, it's possible to get help. It's possible to be fixed in this life. I just want to give thanks to my family, to Christy Bonacci. Thank you so much for just being my support, my backbone, for just grinding through the camps and not being home. All this matters, man, all this matters.
How gratifying is this performance, being the fact that you did go through all of that? I mean, Mark has done a greater job in the corner. Your head trainer is overseas. How proud do you think he is of this performance?
Look, Hector Brunez, I know you're not satisfied. I know you're gonna say you got hit with a goddamn jab, see my language. But you know, we back in the gym. I gotta go overseas for my public privacy. I gotta handle some things over there with my fiance. So I wanna say thank you guys, thank you Overtime Boxing. I wanna thank everybody for coming in this stadium and just seeing me do what I have to do. Thank you Haskell Rhodes for just stepping in here. Not many people can step in here and understand that they go through life situations. Every boxer goes through life situations, and they still step in here and give you all the fans the best we can do.
Well, look, Kurt, you said you practically begged to be on this card. You wanted to stay busy. You didn't want to wait till later on this year, and you picked a vet with 39 fights. So now that that's out the way, because
y'all know what I want. First, give me my KO bonus. After that, y'all know who I want. I don't gotta keep saying it. Y'all know who the hell.
Nah, you gotta say it right now.
Marquez, you know I stepped to your hometown. I thought you were gonna be here. I envisioned that you was be right here. You right here, baby. Sign the contract. Sign the contract.
Congratulations.
Yes, sir.
Guys.
Thank you so much, Ak. So an emotional and excited Kurt Scooby again, mentioning the name that he's been mentioning for the last couple of fights.
Right, and I would love that fight, but I really understood what Kurt Scooby was saying, because taking losses in the closet is hard. Behind closed doors is hard, but to take a loss in the public eye is even harder, and he had to come back from that.
Let's take a look at the punch stats for this one between Kurt Scooby and Haskell Rhodes. See, Haskell Rhodes, he came to fight. He tried to match Kurt Scooby in terms of punch volume, but you see the landed shots very much in favor of Kurt Scooby, and just the weight, the heft of those shots of Scooby quickly started to break Rhodes down, landing at a 36.4% clip. A terrific performance from Scooby, another knockout, and a learning experience rolled into one.
I think Rhodes forced Scooby to be on his A game tonight, even though that was Scooby's intention. But sometimes, if the level of opposition is so low, you just go in there and try to blow the guy out, and you're not really working on anything.
So a big win for Kurt Scooby as we look towards our two feature bouts of the evening. And coming up, we have our co-main event. North Philly native Brandon the Gift Pizarro taking on Israel Badways Mercado. A true 50-50 fight. Who will emerge as a contender in our co-main event? Beautiful Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, our host for OTX 14. It has been a night of excitement and knockouts. But now it is time for our two feature bouts of the evening, starting with our co-main event, the NABA Super Lightweight title on the line in this one between Brandon Pizarro and Israel Mercado as we take a look at the measurables. Pizarro enjoying a height and reach advantage in this one. Two men with just a single loss on their respective resumes. Two men who were desperate for an opportunity like this, and they are tossed in a 50-50 fight in our co-main event. We cannot wait to get this one started.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the ring, Israel Badways Mercado.
Well, here comes the 30-year-old Israel Badways Mercado, and you are reading that correctly. He is indeed the uncle of Ernesto Tito Mercado, the 2023 Prospect of the Year, now world-ranked contender, and Mercado is looking to join his nephew in that description, perhaps with a victory here tonight. We last saw him scoring an 8-round unanimous decision over Jonathan Inez in April of this year in Long Beach, California. Guys, this is a man with an extensive amateur resume who is one of those fighters that just hasn't quite got the breaks that he would hope for in his pro career.
But tonight's the night. Tonight's the opportunity that he actually needed to showcase on DAZN in front of this Philly crowd, this fight crowd, that he still has it, and he actually has the potential to be a champion maybe one day, but he got a tough fighter in front of him.
Well, that Philly crowd that you mentioned, they are going to be firmly in the corner of the man we're going to take a closer look at right now, the Gift, Brandon Pizarro.
I'm Brandon the Gift Pizarro. I'm 25 years old and I'm from North Philadelphia. Winning in Philly, winning in my hometown turf is gonna mean everything to me. You don't know what to expect. You can't watch film on me. I could box, I could bang, I turn southpaw, orthodox. I do whatever I want to do in there. I'm comfortable. However I wake up that day, honestly. I just got to go in there and be nobody but myself. Go in there and have fun. When I have fun is when I'm the most dangerous. I believe in God's timing. My time is now. I'm super excited. I'm blessed, and it's going to be fireworks. Philly, we back home. Ain't nobody beating me in my hometown.
And his opponent, Brandon the Gift Pizarro.
Dream night for Brandon Pizarro that he hopes will be a nightmare for Israel Mercado. Pizarro, another member of the Bozy Dungeon camp, a man who has grown up with Boots Ennis, a man who has had an incredible journey to get to this point. One of the youngest professionals ever in the state of Pennsylvania turned pro so that he could help provide for his family. Left behind a fantastic amateur career to turn pro so he could make paychecks, and now at the age of 25, he feels like a young veteran.
Yeah, I mean, at 16, you're not even fully developed yet as an adult. So a lot to carry at that age. To want to change your family's life. So he's on the road now.
When you do stuff like that, there's literally no plan B. So you have to be victorious.
Ladies and gentlemen from Philadelphia, PA, this is your OTX 14 co-main event of the evening. 10 rounds for the NABA Super Lightweight Championship. Your three judges scoring this bout at ringside will be Bernard Bruni, Robert Rubnitz, and Mark Werlinski. The referee in charge when the bell sounds is Eric Dolly. Introducing to you first, fighting out of the blue corner. He comes in wearing the white trunks trimmed with the black, weighing officially at 139 pounds. His record, a dozen victories, 7 of those coming by way of knockout against 1 loss and 2 draws. Joining us from Pomona, California, ladies and gentlemen, here is Israel Badways Mercado. And across the ring, his opponent fighting out of the red corner. He comes in wearing the white trunks trimmed with the lime green and a black. Official weights, 140 pounds. His record in outstanding one, 20 wins, 11 of those coming by way of knockout, opposite 1 defeat and 1 bout even. Proudly representing North Philadelphia, PA. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Brandon the Gift Pizarro. The referee in charge here to give instructions is Eric Dolly.
Okay, gentlemen, you already know the rules. Let me remind you to keep it clean, protect yourself at all times, obey my commands at all times. Touch gloves. Good luck.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's now time for our 20 round. If a fighter gets a stoppage or a knockout in this round.
So a 50-50 fight here in our co-main event. Brandon Pizarro, Israel Mercado, 2 men with just 1 loss on their professional records. For Mercado, that loss came at the hands of the world-ranked Arthur Byarslanov. And for Brandon Pizarro, his early loss, well, it came early in his pro career, just in his 2nd year as a pro, at the hands of Christian Rivera. This one's scheduled for 10.
I think half the people in this building, Corey, are here for Pizarro tonight. Heavy support for the Philly native, North Philly native.
This is already starting to look like a 50-50 fight when you see both twitchy, both defensively responsible, both shooting out jabs.
I mean, we've been saying it all week. I'll be remiss if I don't mention the boots on Pizarro. I like the style, I like the stones on them.
I saw you wear something like that last night.
Look good, feel good, you fight good. That's what they say, right?
I've seen a couple guys look good.
It happens.
Feeling out process here in the early going. Both men trying to reach one another with the jabs, trying to touch one another's bodies. Can't quite get there. As you mentioned, Barack, the twitchy movement, the footwork of both men. And now Mercado trying to jump on Pizarro early.
Right, because Pizarro landed a good jab to the body, and the smart, experienced Mercado said, okay, I got to get that point back. And that's what he did. He jumped on him,
Barack,
released some shots.
You mentioned that, at this point, there's no plan B for Pizarro. I mean, he said he's never had a job because he watched his father work so hard coming in after long days, and they still struggled, and he never wanted to live that like that.
But his work is in the gym.
And heart-wrenching backstory for Brandon Pizarro. Of course, his father, when Pizarro was young, was on his way home from his construction job to cash his check, got mugged by two men, and was basically unable to work. So the two of them were effectively unhoused for a period of time. And Pizarro decided, okay, at 16 years of age, I can start bringing some checks home.
What year was that? Hopefully that wasn't me.
We're not from Philly.
I changed my past. That's a good point.
Closing in on the final 30 seconds of the opening round.
You mentioned, he's from that dojo, that boot, Bozy dungeon. He told us he gets a lot of work in with Boots Ennis, who walked him out earlier, and you can't get better sparring than that.
Yeah, but Mercado's making this very, very competitive.
Absolutely.
I think Mercado's looking for that check left hook.
Pizarro hasn't really landed anything significant so far.
Nice shot to the body with a right hand right before the bell there from Israel Mercado. We head back to the corners. For both men. Israel Mercado, the 30-year-old from Montclair, California. 2 fights ago, we saw Mercado here on DAZN putting the first blemish on the record of Matchroom prospect Leonardo Rubalcava. He held him to a draw on the Pacheco-Nelson undercard. Guys, a lot of observers, felt that Mercado won that fight. Mercado claims that Robert Garcia, Rubalcava's trainer, came up to him after the fight and said, hey, you won that fight.
I don't believe that, but...
I've seen trainers do that. I don't think that's what happened. Who knows?
I've heard fighters say trainers do that. I've never saw it myself.
Well, I've seen trainers come to me and say,
not to the other fighter.
I would love to see punch stats because I'm wondering who actually landed more shots that first round. Maybe it was Mercado.
Very hard to say.
It seems like he threw maybe more shots. I'm not sure.
And right on cue.
Miraculously, they
check that out. The wonders of television production as we take a look at the punch stats. Pizarro, as of this second, not throwing Mercado, not landing him, but just barely. And those stats indicate how competitive this one has been as the tempo picks up here.
He just landed a couple of left hooks here on the ropes.
And he just ate a right hand. Pizarro, yeah. But he ate it well. Seems to have a very fast jab, too.
Left hook to the body of Pizarro as well, who comes back with a counter right hand.
That's when the feet should come into play. Don't just bend over and stand there and take the shots. Get out of the way. Angle.
Gotta be careful there.
You got fast feet.
Almost landed a sneaky right hand there. Gotta keep that left hand up. And use that jab, because Barack, you pointed out that he's a lot faster. Has a fast jab. I think he needs to use that more. Gain better distance so he can land those shots. See that right hand, he's not at the right distance.
Right hand there from Pizarro. Mercado tries to get it back immediately, and he certainly has that thing in him, guys. When Mercado gets hit, he goes after his opponent like he wants to erase that immediately.
Yeah, he wants to get his lick back right away.
And that's exactly what happened, and he was open for the jab, and Pizarro shot that jab.
think Pizarro just needs to start. He's landing the jabs at times, but he needs to start putting a couple of punches together and land something to give, at least to make Mercado honest.
Seconds tick away here in round 2. The action picking up at the 2300 arena.
Yeah, I think at the end of that round, Pizarro was just trying to win the round.
I think this is the third outfit change of the night for Boots Ennis because he is a part of the camp of nearly everyone on the show tonight.
Yeah, it says a lot about him. Like he's a true stablemate,
yes.
You know, and support. As big as the star he is, he's out here on this card and has been out 3 times already.
I didn't notice a change of clothes, but maybe it's because each time he's sweating it out, jumping and yelling instructions. He's just totally vested, though.
I think it's because each fighter is taking the initiative of making their own merchandise, which you should do. That's good marketing.
Yes, yes, indeed.
100%.
Having boots in your merch.
Round 3 underway. Brent Pizarro looking to pick up his 21st victory here tonight. Maybe sell some more T-shirts as well. But he's in tough tonight against Israel Mercado. Who had his moments in the second round as well as they battle out here on the inside.
He got pulled into that fine fight right there, but I think in the last round, maybe the last 30 seconds, he realized that I can actually control this fight with my jab. And I don't have to get into those exchanges.
I just don't like
when Mercado wants me to.
I don't like when he pulls back and just leans on a rope instead of turning. Obviously, Mercado sometimes lunges in, but if you turn him, you know, you make it a lot easier for yourself.
Now he has Mercado on the back foot a little bit. But he's feinting a lot. Got to let the hands go. There you go.
Good combination, but good head movement from Mercado.
Yes, not getting hit flush.
Good right hand to the body landed Pizarro there.
Yeah, and I like the way he ducked the left hand first before he came in and then let that right hand go.
Guys, this is a high level of boxing. Watching right now. It is not easy for either man to land anything. I mean, you have to feint, you have to work to land on either Pizarro or Mercado, who are both very, very adept defensive fighters.
Yeah, these guys have to work tonight for this one.
Right, you're not seeing a lot of heads popping back because these guys are very good defensively as well.
Yeah. No flush shots landed so far tonight. Good check hook by Pizarro there. That landed clean.
Oh, there we go. That was a good shot by Mercado. Overhand right.
Grazed.
Pizarro tries to get his lips out.
And that is emboldened Mercado, who is on the hunt right now. Puts a couple shots together on the inside.
50-50 fight indeed.
Wow, good job, landed.
Couple good right hands there from Mercado. Again, raising the chin of Pizarro and backing him up.
Who wants this fight to
work? A shot there from Mercado.
Guys, the judges have it hard here tonight on this one because I can tell you how these rounds are going.
Well, in this particular round, Mercado just had a couple of big shots, so he had the better moments. So he's probably winning this round right here.
Sweeping left hook there from Mercado. Back comes Pizarro with a counter off the ropes. This is an excellent round for Israel Mercado.
I wouldn't be surprised if Pizarro won the other 2 rounds. Like I said, in my opinion, this was early in the round when Mercado forced Pizarro to let his hands go on the inside while he was holding. And actually, that overhand right didn't land the way I thought it landed, looking at the replay. But like Corey said earlier, this is just a high-level fight where guys are defensively responsible.
It's round 4 underway. Doing a little housekeeping in the corner of Brandon Pizarro and also at our commentary table as the entire ice bucket gave us an ice bath here.
That was a little hot. I appreciate that.
A little refreshing.
Not the kind that I pay $49.99 a month for at other ship either. Unexpected one.
Freebie. Boots yells out. Pizarro to push Mercado back, but not an easy task. No.
Picking up the tempo here in the 4th round.
I think, you know, a little body attack from Pizarro would do him well. Maybe slow Mercado down slightly.
Turn that jab into a power jab. Like that. Step into that. You want to push it back. Step into the jab. Don't just flick it out there. There you go. Step into the jab. Push the man back.
Good reply here from Pizarro. Pizarro definitely does not want that, what we saw in the opening minute of the round, to become a recurring pattern here where he finds himself with his back against the ropes too often. I know he's very comfortable there, but the optics in one of these tricky fights to score, it's just another tick, another box to tick for Mercado.
Doesn't look good.
You've seen that with Katz and Brandon Adams, where you're comfortable on the ropes, but the referee is seeing a man keeping you on the ropes and possibly the judges. So it's not always a great place to be, especially when you're the taller, longer fighter and a bit faster.
Unless you can land big shots off of the ropes, and he hasn't done that yet.
Pretty strong left hook by Mercado there.
Pizarro rolling with some of these shots, but every one of these sequences, there's one of them that's sneaking in there from Mercado and not a ton coming back from Pizarro in those moments. This is where he's doing his best. Exactly.
In the middle of the ring, where he should stay.
Mercado instantly smothers him.
That's a great double jab, but you have to put a couple of punches behind that before Mercado can think to counter.
Double left hook there from Mercado. The second one lands to the body of Pizarro. Good stiff jab, though. Every time Pizarro assumes the control of the center of the ring, he immediately starts to have good moments.
Yeah, that's the best place for him, but Mercado is not allowing him to stay comfortable there, because then he's obviously applying pressure and pushing him back to the ropes.
Yes. And the thing is, because whenever Pizarro throws the jab when he's in the middle of the ring, it lands or it keeps Mercado away. But sometimes he doesn't take that step back if he's not going to throw enough to get out of distance when Mercado jumps in.
Yes. Right hand off the ropes there from Pizarro, but that was after another right hand from Mercado and a little shoe shine to the body. What do you like the most? That's the question for the judges.
I like to see him circle in the middle of the ring instead of stepping all the way back to the ropes. When you do that with the jab, you're still going to make your opponent think.
Let's take a look at the DAZN YouTube poll. And the fans in favor of Brandon Pizarro right now. 56-44. I mean, that seems to be a fairly even split in terms of the opinion of the audience thus far.
And like we said, 50-50 fight.
Back to action here, round 5 underway. This one is flying by, guys. This is high-tempo, thinking man's boxing here between Brandon Pizarro and Israel Mercado.
Absolutely. You got to count those jabs, though, Corey. You know, oftentimes we overlook that because we're looking at power shots, but Mercado's landed a lot of jabs in this fight.
Pizarro trying to do the very same. A couple landed to the body a moment ago, and now he sneaks to the inside with the right hand to the body as well.
Whoever wins this fight, they're going to deserve whatever ranking they get in the super lightweight division, for sure.
As you mentioned, the NABA super lightweight title on the line in this one.
You see those combinations in the middle ring. I like to see Pizarro maybe sit on those shots a little bit more, especially the body shots. Put some mustard on it. But good work, good combination by Pizarro.
I saw that. Pizarro just threw a left uppercut. He was there, he was open, he was just off.
Oh, good left hook there from Mercado.
Little sweat flies our way.
Thanks for catching all of it so it didn't hit us.
Yeah, that's what I'm here for.
The sweat guy. Punches landed or not, it's just Pizarro just looks so much more controlled when he fights it in the middle of the ring at the right distance.
And the body from Pizarro a moment ago.
And he does control the fights in spurts at those moments. But when he takes a break and heads to the rope is when Mercado starts to make his mark.
Punching in and getting off the ropes.
You know, Mercado's he's probably not winning this round, at least to this point, but one thing he does well here, guys, is when Pizarro clearly wants to take a little bit of a break or wants to slow the action down, he's not allowing it. He's galloping after Pizarro to try and deny him that rest as he lands a nice chopping right hand.
They both traded some good shots, but that last right hand by Mercado just looked good.
Right hand there from Pizarro. Good reply. He comes back with another one.
This is a round of replies.
Answer backs. That's right.
This is like the email thread that gets up to about 50 replies.
Or if it's Aka's voice notes.
Absolutely. Who's getting the message here in this round?
Nice right hand to the body there from Mercado, right along the belt line of Pizarro as the seconds tick away here in the fifth. Good left hook from Mercado as well. Back and forth action here in our co-main event.
Halfway through this fight, guys, I mean, how are you scoring?
I don't know. I kind of would edge Pizarro on that one. They both had their moments. It seems like it was ebbs and flows. I just think that he was a little bit more in control of that round when he wanted to be.
Well, tomorrow night, Richardson Hitchens is defending his IBF Super Lightweight title in New York City against former Unified Lightweight champion George Kambosos, who is making his debut at 140 pounds. You can catch that one as part of your DAZN subscription.
And that's a great fight. And let me tell you why I feel like that's a great fight, because I seen the confident Kambosos. I thought he was overly confident against Teofimo, and he proved something that night. So could be a great fight tomorrow night.
Well, George Kambosos in that venue, you just always think there could be magic in the air.
Yeah, but Richardson is just a superb boxer.
Corey, you'll be calling that one, huh?
That is correct, yeah. We're hopping on the Amtrak at about 8:20. Nice right hand there from Mercado as it goes downstairs to the body as well. Good little sequence there for Mercado, who has said that a lot of things in his past have prevented him from fully showcasing his skills. There have been nights where it looks like he put it together, but the judges didn't quite agree. There have been nights where he should have put it together, but couldn't do it in totality. Will tonight finally be the night that it all comes together for Mercado?
Well, he's taking this round so far, or he got his foot on the gas.
Will Pizarro make a statement here on his first opportunity on OTX?
Mercado starting to find a little bit of a flow here with his combinations. Sweeping left hook connected a couple of moments ago. Mercado just keeping Pizarro on the ropes right now.
And I'm not sure if it's condition. and what's keeping him from staying in the middle of the ring, but a lot has to do with Mercado pressure. Pizarro lands a little flurry there, middle of the ring. You know, we say, Corey, that Pizarro looks great in the middle ring, and that's where he's having his best moments, but it's easier said than done to stay there when you got a guy like Mercado on you.
Exactly, and you know, some people have talked about the judging philosophy of breaking around into thirds. The first 2/3 of this round are fairly easy to look at right now for Israel Mercado in this round.
Right. I think when Pizarro looks back at this fight, you know, at least this portion of it, he's going to realize that Mercado wasn't really cutting the ring off. He was allowing Mercado to push him back into the ropes.
Yeah. Yeah, see, right there, that's a great one, too. But
see, look, he's not cutting the ring off. He's just standing in front of him. He's getting in front of him, following him around, and Pizarro's choosing to back up.
This fight is going to be based on what the judges see or what they look for, what they favor on in this type of fight.
Oh, this is kind of looks like a great round for Mercado. After
this is maybe the clearest round of the fight thus far, guys.
I agree with you.
And that'll do it for round 6.
A little urgency in the corner of Pizarro. You know, that's just the trainer knowing that their fighter can do better and do more.
He is close, but he's done nothing for you. You see what he sees, where he's going? What counter punch? All right, counter punch.
I've never seen this in the
Back to action here in a fascinating co-main event between Brandon Pizarro and Israel Mercado. Momentum, I won't call it momentum swings, it's kind of wavered back and forth. That pendulum has been sticking near the center for most of this fight. That last round, probably the clearest round that you'll find in this fight, and probably a round for Israel Mercado.
I would agree with that. Sure. He's showing that he's very well conditioned. Worked his way inside again and doesn't want to let him off the hook.
It's good work here from Mercado.
Great work not letting him off the hook, not letting him off the corner.
Pizarro has to be careful with that left hand on the ropes leaning, because the right hand is coming in a little easier now. He has to keep that left guard up, especially on the ropes.
Sweeping left hook there from Mercado.
Pizarro tried to get that left hook back, but it was blocked by Mercado.
It's been a little while since Pizarro has spent time on the front foot here in this fight.
That was smart to get off the ropes. Pizarro shot a good jab to the body of Mercado.
A sneaky uppercut there as well at the right hand from Pizarro.
And it's not that Mercado is landing a lot of clean shots. It's just the constant pressure towards the ropes and just being more imposing. I mean, he landed a good left hook here.
And of course, guys, boxing judging, I mean, it's judges coming up with an answer to questions like this fight, where they're deciding nice right hand there from Mercado.
It's that left hand.
Is Pizarro luring Mercado in, or is Mercado making him back up? And I think that the more you look at this, it's Pizarro that is looking less comfortable in these moments, certainly right now.
Yeah, and it's just that, you know, he's leaning his head to the right with that left hand down, and that's why that right hand is coming in. And he kind of, complained to the ref as he lands a good 1-2 off the ropes on the left hook. Needs to do more of that.
Yeah, but when you're square up against the ropes, it's hard to generate any power. Yeah.
A lead left hook there from Mercado a moment ago as we close in on the final 10 seconds of round 7. Second half of this fight looking good for Israel Mercado.
Especially those last 2 rounds.
That seems to change a little bit. Before it was Pizarro up by 2 punches, and now we have Mercado up by 2 punches. Very competitive fight. I just see that the ties is changing a little bit where there's more flush shots in those last 2 rounds than I've seen in the previous rounds. And that's coming from Mercado.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So Oscar Negrete in the corner of Israel Mercado. Of course, Negrete, a longtime contender in his own right, had 3 terrific fights with Joshua Franco, the brother of Bam Rodriguez. Now training a really good fighter here in Israel Mercado, who has turned it on in particular in the second half of this fight.
Well, we said in the beginning that this was a step-up fight for Pizarro, and Mercado came prepared. He came ready. Good movement by Mercado, but Pizarro timed him and caught him with the right hand.
Bit of an exaggerated pivot there from Mercado, but he just stays right on top of him, just placing these shots on the inside.
You see, that level of energy that Pizarro just showed in that moment is what we need to see more of if he's going to turn the second portion of this fight around. He has to sit on some of those punches to give Mercado something to think about. He's just been landing flurries. Exactly.
Good work there from Pizarro, fighting off the ropes, doing some good body work. He stabilizes things with the jab, and again, Mercado right on top of it.
We need to see more of that by Pizarro.
I just saw Mercado throw a bunch of shots, a bunch of combinations, probably missed most of those. But what does that look like to the judge?
Good combination landed by Pizarro again off the ropes. But how consistent are we going to see this? Throughout this round, so far, Pizarro has landed the cleanest shots, at least the clearer shots.
Yeah, if Pizarro is going to stick to this strategy for the rest of the fight, this is how he wants to execute it.
Yeah, absolutely. No, off of the ropes. Good body
combination here from Pizarro, left hook to the body, and a sharp right hand as well.
Turn, not on the ropes.
Sneaky left hook to the body there from Mercado. Another 45 seconds of round 8.
Referee telling Mercado, don't lean in with your head. Don't lead with your head.
A razor-thin, hyper-competitive bout here between Pizarro and Mercado.
Good job on Mercado there. But at this point in the fight, they kind of sway these judges. We need to see more. The overhand right has been sneaking in there for most of the night. I would say that's Mercado's best shot of this fight.
He's throwing fakes and feints before he's attempting it. That one missed at the end of the round.
I would say that Mercado, maybe if you're looking at clean punches, he maybe squeezed that round.
Mercado, you said?
No, I'm sorry, Pizarro. Pizarro won that round. See,
a couple of shots snuck in there by Mercado.
Good right hand. No, good work by both guys in this round. I just think that a lot of Mercado's shots missed, and I would say that Pizarro
gloves
or slipped, and I think Pizarro landed more of his. But still, tough.
Very competitive fight.
Between Brandon Pizarro and Israel Mercado. Just looking to cause a little heartbreak for the Philly crowd here tonight. This is a man with 2 amateur wins over Stephen Fulton, who feels jokingly that he might have just a built-in advantage over Philly fighters. We'll see if he can pick up the win over a really good one here in Brandon Pizarro as he goes back downstairs to the body.
Yeah, those wins were like 10 years ago, but Fulton's in the house tonight. You know, totally different fighter tonight. Mercado is relentless. He is staying on him.
Pizarro looking to his corner for instruction here. See if he can replicate that 8th round where, I think you're right. If you look at that round, that kind of, that pot shotting counter work that Pizarro did in round 8. It was still close, but one of the best rounds he's had in a little while.
Right, yes, indeed. And I think if he's not going to hurt Mercado, he needs to stick to that strategy at least for these next 2 rounds.
And Mercado's not just coming in recklessly. Like, already in this round, he's throwing feints. He's double jabbed his way in, and he's moving his head off the line before he comes inside. He's just a smart fighter.
Agreed.
And again, what we're seeing out of Mercado, you know, we talk about cutting off the ring. Cutting off the ring doesn't mean pinning a man against the ropes all the time. Mercado is always in range to land his shots. And when Pizarro wants to make a move or land something, he typically has to slip something. He needs to deal with something like that. Hustle here from Mercado, but sharp counters from Pizarro there as well.
Yeah, cutting off the ring is you stepping in the direction that the fight is going at an angle.
Right, and so making it difficult for them to make another move, exactly.
I think so far Pizarro is doing his best work where he's scoring his flurries and then moving and staying off of the ropes.
Oh, those some good hard shots by Pizarro.
Sweeping left hook from Mercado as Pizarro turns the corner. Trade jabs in the center of the ring.
I'm thinking maybe Pizarro got his second win, because I would say earlier it looked like Mercado like he had a little bit more energy.
Crowd rallying behind Pizarro here, a big ticket seller in Philadelphia. One final right hand from Mercado right along the belt line of Pizarro. 3 minutes remaining in this one.
I have to say, Corey, I would give that round to Pizarro as well. Had the same strategy as the round before. Can he maintain that for this round? And we have an interesting scorecard.
Take a look at the punch stats to this point. Dead even in terms of total landed punches.
I love it. I love it. Higher percentage for Pizarro, throwing less.
And even the throwing punches, they only separated by 62 punches. Now it sounds like something, but this is
just a handful of punches per round.
Right, exactly. Right. You're talking about 9 rounds. That's less than 7 punches more.
Thin fight that who knows, it could come down to this final fight, or final round, excuse me, which is also the money round, and Israel Mercado just galloping after Brandon Brandon Pizarro right now.
Pizarro has to fight this round desperate.
Pizarro is weathering right now. A body language not positive from Pizarro there a moment ago.
Then he came back and tried to answer back, but these last 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's not like Mercado's going to get tired. You know, you're not going to tire himself out punching you.
Yeah, so you got to put it all on the line on this round. This is a razor-thin fight.
Good response and stabilization here from Pizarro. That opening sequence in the round there for Pizarro. Again, the body language of Pizarro did not look good over there, but he has bounced back.
Yeah, 100%. Even right after that exchange, he came off the ropes and landed a couple of shots.
Left hook to the body there from Mercado. A good left hook, and you can see on the face of Pizarro wincing after that one. You caught that too, bro.
Yes, I did, but I also seen the referee say keep it up, so maybe now
might have been
the judge might have to say, okay, that wasn't a good shot.
Deep breaths from both men right now as we close in on the final minute of this contest.
Pizarro has to keep that right hand up because those left hands are sneaking in there.
Both hands. He's tired.
He's rolling with them, but they're still touching up top.
Left hook to the body there from Pizarro.
And a good jab from Mercado. I think Mercado feels like he's won this fight, or he's winning. Seems more confident.
He's certainly not resting on his laurels. He has been more aggressive in this round than in any other in the fight. Right on top of Pizarro, who lands a nice right hand there a moment ago.
Maybe he feels he needs this round to get this fight, Corey. You know, can in his last 25 seconds, Pizarro steal the round.
Mercado, no doubt, haunted by those decisions in the past that he felt he deserved against Rubalcava, against Biarslanov. How do the judges have this one? If you ask Mercado, he already has this.
I think some of those rounds are very difficult for the judges to score. Extremely. I mean, you see what punch that said last round. After 9 rounds, 122 dead even.
Well, even the YouTube poll is nearly dead even. 51% of our viewers who voted have felt that Brandon Pizarro is victorious. 49% voting for Israel Mercado. I like when the graphics back up what we've been talking about. The punch stats are even, the fans feel it's even.
Right. Makes it sound like we know what we're talking about.
Right. Let's see what the judges think.
When you speak truth, that's what happens. Because beforehand, we were saying that this is a 50-50 fight. And that's exactly what happened. You got even fans are saying 51-49.
Take a look at the final punch stats. A 3-punch advantage for Israel Mercado. You see Pizarro landing at a higher percentage. Mercado out-throwing Pizarro, and no doubt owed to those final 2 rounds where he was extra busy. Started to pull away just in terms of the sheer volume there, Brock.
Yeah, absolutely. The rounds that he won were bigger rounds. You know, definitely he had bigger rounds. And that's what pressure looks like. And he was landing the more flush shots, I would say, and maybe even appeared to be harder shots. Didn't see either man actually hurt, even in that little sequence when Pizarro, you know, bent down and he just covered up. I don't think he was hurt at all.
Right. Well, again, that can be difficult when it comes to scoring fights because how wide you win your rounds doesn't actually matter. We're not in the WBC Grand Prix right now where that does matter. It does not here tonight, so this one is going to be very interesting, and the scorecards are in the hands of Ray Flores.
Ladies and gentlemen, having gone 10 rounds, we go to the scorecards. Here are your score totals. Judge at ringside, Robert Rubnitz, scores the contest 95-95, a draw. Overruled by Judge Mark Werlinski, who has it 97-93, and Bernard Bruni, who has it 96-94 for your winner by majority decision, and now the NABA Super Lightweight Champion, Israel Bedways Mercado.
So Israel Mercado, your winner. You heard the scores, 95-95, a draw, 97-93, and 96-94 in his favor. We talked about the heartbreaks that he's had, the tough decisions, how he's felt like things have gotten in the way of him putting it all together and him showcasing his skills. It all came together, both in terms of his performance and the verdict of the judges here tonight.
Well, he turned it up tonight. That's what he did. He turned it up, and he kept the same pressure in round 1 in round 10.
So Israel Mercado finally with the breakthrough victory. A tough night for Brandon Pizarro, who was there to work all night long. But Israel Mercado, just too much here tonight, and he is standing by with us.
Congratulations on a hard-fought fight. Seemed like a chess match in there. The first 6-7 rounds in that fight. What was difficult about his style, if anything at all?
I mean, coming into this fight, I knew he had a difficult style. You know, he's from Philly, that says it all. Philly fighters, they can fight. You know what I mean? But we knew he had a good jab. We knew he has speed, combinations, and he likes to go to the body, so I was ready for all that.
You know, he had most of the people in this building came here for him. How hard was it to fight in this crowd?
Oh, of course. I was expecting that. I'm 5-0 in Philly. You know, in the amateurs, I came to Olympic qualifier down here, so I'm used to coming to enemy territory. But I love Philly. I'm glad I got to show the Philly fans my skills, and I want to come back.
You know, that last round, you came on strong. Did you feel that you needed that last round to secure the victory?
I always like to go out with a bang. No matter what round it is, what fight it is or whatever, I always like to come out with a bang the last round, just to leave it all in there. So that's what I like to do every single fight.
So, good win, two wins so far this year. What's next?
I'm sorry?
What's next? What do you want next?
Well, we got 2 more fights at OTX, so I'm ready for whoever. I want to chase some more belts, so this is the first step.
Congratulations. Guys.
Thank you so much, Ak. A feel-good moment for Israel Mercado, finally getting the win in a close fight that has eluded him to this point, and now with the NABA Super Lightweight title to add to his mantle as we take a look back at some of the highlights.
Tonight's his night. You know, he had some bad scraps in the, decisions rather in the past, but he earned this tonight by this right here. Now, sometimes he's leading with the head, and that's what the referee just said it right there. Stop leading with the head. But he stayed in the face of Pizarro all night. And some of those shots was flush. That right hand was good, but it just looks like good work. Pushing in with the shoulder, pushing him off, landing that right hand.
We'll see what the CompuBox punch stats say here. We looked at them right after the fight, and here they are again. You see Israel Mercado out-throwing Brandon Pizarro. 578 to 484. Those numbers became wider in the final 2 rounds in particular. But you see, in terms of landed punches, we're talking about a difference of 3 landed punches in this one. But again, boxing is scored round by round. And to your point, Barack, the aggression of Mercado was very visible, more so than the work of Pizarro.
Right, and Mercado had the mentality of, I have to win every round. You know, he didn't win every round, but he had that mentality, and that's the way he came in and approached every single round. Good fight, but Pizarro can actually hold his head up high as well. Look, one judge had it dead even. One judge just gave him an extra round to Mercado. And with these close rounds like that, it can be a wide 7-3 but it's because those rounds were close. And if you give it to one fighter, it looks like a wash, but it really wasn't.
Yeah, I think the judges, did a good job. It was a hard fight to score. Close fight. I guess the right guy got the decision tonight.
So our co-main event is in the books, and it is now time for the top of the bill. Our main event coming up next. LeAnna Cruz looking to win an interim world title in her hometown as she takes on Regina Chavez, vying for a world title for the third time. Will the third time be a charm, or will OTX have a new world champion? Find out after the break.
The Zone, the undisputed global home of boxing, where the greatest fighters take center stage, with fights every week and over 185 a year. And now, the mighty Queensberry joins over 30 worldwide promoters to up the ante like never before, with the best of the best.
The biggest nights.
There's no limits to what's possible. Nobody brings you closer to the action. Because if the fight is on, it's on The Zone, the global home of boxing.
From Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the city of brotherly love. There is no sisterhood between the two women in our main event. There has been plenty of trash talk, plenty of bad blood between LeAnna Cruz and Regina Chavez. As we take a look at the tail of the tape, you see Cruz enjoying a 2-inch reach advantage in this one. Regina Chavez, just 21 years of age, but already taking part in her third world title bout, interim or otherwise. Chavez looking to break through in LeAnna Cruz's hometown.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's meet our main event combatants. First entering the ring, Regina Chavez.
We mentioned Regina Chavez, just 21 years of age, taking part in her third world title fight, if you count interim title fights, tonight being one of them. Regina Chavez turned pro at 14 years of age, one of the youngest professional fighters ever documented. And when she turned pro, she was an amateur for a little while, but she showed up at the pro fight and didn't know how things would work. Someone started her hands, and she was like, I thought that hand wraps were cloth. Did not know what was happening, but somehow, after starting her career 2-1-2, is now once again on the brink of winning a world title that, realistically, she should already have around her waist.
100%, Corey. And she walks around that way. And in the fighting meeting, she's very, very confident going into this fight. I'm looking forward to this one.
Regina Chavez very unlucky against Jasmine Artiga last time out, but she'll get a second crack at a title here tonight against the hometown favorite, LeAnna Cruz.
The thing is, with some people, is they get kind of carried away with their words, where they just say things to kind of make a show and create a show, whereas the difference with me is that everything I say, I mean. So if I tell a girl I'm gonna whoop your ass, I'm gonna whoop your ass. I'm not really gonna get hit like that. She throws a lot of punches, but I'm gonna show another level of women's boxing and showcase what it's like to swim without getting wet. Doesn't matter the experience that a woman will have in boxing, I'm still gonna be better than them, just based off my work ethic and my talent. I hope you're ready, shorty. You ain't gonna f with me.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, here is LeAnna Too Much Cruz.
Of this year right here in Philly. That was the first knockout of Cruz's career, and she and her camp feel that she's really coming into her power, especially considering that she scored that knockout with a fractured elbow. So LeAnna Cruz coming into this fight happy and healthy, vying for an interim world title.
That's very possible. That was a very actually good stoppage, but you know, this girl right here has 16 fights, never been stopped. Got a lot of experience, but we'll see. We'll see tonight if that power is real.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, from the 2300 Arena here in the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia, PA, make some noise. It's time for your OTX 14 main event of the evening. 10 rounds. This is a WBA Super Flyweight title eliminator. Your three judges scoring this contest at ringside are Lynn Carter, Dewey LaRosa, and Steve Weisfeld. The referee in charge when the bell sounds. The third man inside the squared circle is Ricky Gonzalez. Introducing first, fighting to my right out of the blue corner. She comes in wearing the baby blue trim with the silver, weighing officially at 114 pounds. Her record, 8 wins, 5 losses, 3 draws, 1 win coming by way of a knockout. Joining us from Mexico City, Mexico. Ladies and gentlemen, damas y caballeros, presenting Regina Chavez. And across the ring, her opponent fighting out of the red corner. She comes in wearing the navy gray and the red. Official weight, 114 pounds. As a professional, she's perfect. 10 fights, 10 victories. One of those wins coming by way of knockouts. Hailing and representing Allentown, Pennsylvania. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the undefeated LeAnna Cruz. And your referee in charge here to give instructions is Ricky Gonzalez.
Ya te di las reglas en el camerino. Protéjase todo el tiempo y obedeces mis órdenes todo el tiempo. Gave you the instructions in the dressing room. I expect a good, clean fight. Protect yourselves at all times. Obey my commands at all times. Touch them up.
Well, 2 women who had unthinkable beginnings now look towards the possible apex of their careers. Regina Chavez starting as a child in a wave of confusion. LeAnna Cruz having her first fight on Barstool Sports Rough and Rowdy series. These two are now on the brink of being able to call themselves world champion. Round 1 scheduled for 10.
Both women trying to impose themselves early. in the round. No feeling out process here.
You can see the type of volume we can expect here tonight. Regina Chavez, a whirlwind volume puncher, and LeAnna Cruz, more than up to the task herself.
I've always seen Cruz with really, really good defense. But I want to see how that defense holds up against a person like Chavez who throws so many punches. Good right hand by Chavez right there.
Good slip by Cruz there. Threw a left hook to the body. She's got a nice uppercut by Cruz in the inside.
Sharp right hand as well.
She's catching a lot of those shots in the pocket there.
Chavez had excellent sparring in preparation for this match. She's been working with current IBF super flyweight champion Irma Garcia, who is also a southpaw. So if you're preparing for an interim title fight against LeAnna Cruz, who has been working in the southpaw stance a little bit more often as of late, sparring with Irma Garcia is about as good as you could ask for.
Yeah. You know, I like how comfortable LeAnna is in the pocket, though. I mean, a couple of those shots are sneaking in there and landing, but a lot of them are being caught, and she's countering back with a lot of short shots, as she did there with a nice right hand.
Excellent right hand that slips to the body and lands a good left hook as well. And that, oh no, you see the grimace on the face of LeAnna Cruz. And I think I heard her. Well, I didn't hear, I saw her mouth my knee. Right. So we are going to get a look at that. That will be scored a knockdown, but the bigger story may be the condition of Cruz as we take a look at the corner.
Do me a favor, give me the water. I want you to use this stick a little bit more for me. Use it with a little bit of speed. All right? And mix it up. Remember, start to give me this a little bit. And then flick it out. Make sure that your right hand stays here. Whenever she throws a hook in, shoot your right hand down the pipe. When you come down to the bottom, when you're coming down, work for it. Okay? That stick is going to make her throw. You got to do the jab up here. Okay? Don't worry about it. That's nothing.
Let's take a look back at the replay of this knockdown. And in particular, look at the left leg of LeAnna Cruz.
Yeah, just looked like a clean shot. Put it down. Shot, yeah. I wouldn't mind seeing another angle, but yeah.
Her knee seems all right now.
I didn't see any feet or anything tangled up.
Couldn't ask for a better start here for Regina Chavez. You've scored a knockdown. You have a maybe compromised opponent now. And Chavez lands a terrific.
But is this the best style for LeAnna right now? Wow. Chavez is fresh. She's strong. When you're used to moving around and jabbing and slipping shots, remember she said beforehand, swim without getting wet. This is not the style she was talking about.
But the question is, does she have the mobility to do that right now? With what we think could be a knee injury, is fighting like that possible?
I mean, that might be her only option. If her knee is compromised, because she wouldn't be able to move around. And thus far, she's landing shots in there, guys. I mean, LeAnna is still landing the cleanest shots, in my opinion, in this fight.
Exchange there on the inside. Hot start to the round for LeAnna Cruz. Regina Chavez right there in the trenches, landing to the body. So is Cruz, a nice left hook.
Good body attack there.
Cruz in particular felt that she'd be able to hurt Chavez to the body, and she is targeting that explicitly right now as she climbs the ladder with a wicked right hand.
Solid, best punch of the fight, that right hand landed by LeAnna.
Yeah, it does seem like what you're saying, Ak, is just that, what does it look like to the judge where one is bleeding and it looks like she's effective.
You don't judge fights by blood. You judge fights by punches landed. But right now, another right hand landed by LeAnna.
But see, sometimes you can judge by blood because maybe that's saying that was a harder shot.
And even those uppercuts.
They both landed hard shots, it looks like to me.
Watch closely. I mean, LeAnna is bleeding, so yes, it looks
great shot by LeAnna at the end.
See a little bit of concern on the face of LeAnna Cruz supporters right now, but all things considered, a good bounce-back round for Cruz there.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So we've referenced Regina Chavez's last fight against Jasmine Artiga, the current WBA world champion. She dropped a 10-round majority decision in that fight that was highly controversial, and one of the rare instances where a sanctioning body actually reviews the fight and admits that the score should have gone the other way. The WBA did a full rescore of the fight, determined that Chavez should have won, and awarded her initially an opportunity in an eliminator bout, which is what this was originally scheduled to be. Then it got bumped up to an interim world title fight.
I love that.
Yeah. Good decision by them.
Much better start by LeAnna.
And I tell you that I don't see jabs by any of these ladies yet. No jabs, and that might be something that LeAnna might want to start looking into to keep Chavez at bay. But this is a firefight in a bone.
Good right here. LeAnna's doing a lot better. Slipping shots. Good body. What her corner says, going to the body. Coming upstairs. Slipping shots on the inside. Wow. Catching shots.
Catching. Oh, right hand.
Right hand again there.
Followed by left hook.
Most eye-catching shots in these exchanges.
So she caught
coming from Cruz like that.
Caught a shot with her right hand and then punched with the same hand.
And those sneaky uppercuts are landing more than you guys are noticing. Like almost every time in those exchanges in the middle of the ring, she's landing a right uppercut. Sometimes even a left one.
There it is again, and a straight right to the solar plexus of Chavez, who comes back with a good left hook of her own.
I just think this round is better. She was getting touched the other round.
Another straight right.
Pretty much dominated this round.
Yes, of course, she's gotten hit in the fight. In my opinion, she's just landing the cleaner blows here and harder shots. Solid round for LeAnna Cruz there. Landing a lot of right hands calling in that round.
One of the young stars of the OTX stable, Dante Lane, in the crowd, taking in the action. He's cashed a couple bags of cash.
Few bags.
Few bags.
Funny round bags.
Need to borrow something.
Underway, and what a bounce back it has been for LeAnna Cruz, who was dropped in the opening round. Looked like she had sustained a knee injury. You know, between round 1 and 2, you had questions about what was her mobility going to be like. Can she continue at all? But she has bounced back with 2 excellent rounds, 2 fun action rounds here in our main event.
No question about it, Corey.
And I think, you know, she always lets her hands go, but I think it's the defense that's setting this fight apart now.
And it might be early to start talking momentum, but right now it's safe to say that LeAnna has a slight bit of momentum here. Maybe some more feints and more jabs.
Much slower pace here from Chavez in this round.
Nice right hand landed by Chavez there. And the thing about Chavez, she's real sneaky with it. You know, she has that same pace that nothing that LeAnna is doing is stopping her pace. but still getting hit.
Chavez looking for that left uppercut.
Left hook, right uppercut landed by LeAnna.
Body work again there for Cruz.
And bringing it upstairs after.
Cruz just slipping shots. Really nice.
Great body attack by LeAnna Cruz. You don't see this often in female fighting guys. I mean, Amanda Serrano is a great body puncher, but very few fighters. Nice left hook.
Cruz again just whipping those right uppercuts through the middle. That's a nice right hand. A good reply from Chavez. It comes back with a three-punch combination.
LeAnna's very hard to hit. There's one thing about Chavez, though. She does not change facial expressions even when hit.
You can't tell what she's going through in there. It doesn't show her. She doesn't wear feelings on her sleeve, that's for sure.
On her gloves.
Keep everything on your side. Now we're just gonna punch it out.
Definitely so far the most entertaining fight of the night, if you ask me, guys.
Another 50-50 fight. You know, who wants it more? Bring it to that next level. It seems like so far the last couple of rounds, it's been LeAnna Cruz who actually stepped it up. Maybe, like I said before, the defense and probably took those 2 rounds. But she does have a knockdown in that first round, so she's going to have to win another 2 rounds to secure this victory.
Indeed.
Round 5 underway. Excellent fight so far between LeAnna Cruz and Regina Chavez. Cruz bouncing back after a first-round knockdown and seemingly an injury as well. But if anything, it has just altered her approach. It hasn't seemed to hold her back
at all.
Just checked in with LeAnna Cruz corner, and they believe that she's torn something in the knee and is still in here going toe-to-toe, quite possibly winning all of these rounds since the knockdown as well.
Right. The knee does look a little funny, and because it might be hurting her, troubling her, she's probably can't sit down. Okay, I see the movement is a little bit slower when she pays out. But maybe she can't sit down on the left-hand shots like that as much as she probably...
Right, you think about the mechanics of the left hook.
Yes,
You're turning that knee inwards, this poor knee.
It messes with the torque.
To crank that hook, and now you see the blood really starting to splatter, and not just the decorative blood. On the ring kit of LeAnna Cruz. That's crazy. Chavez, what a reply from LeAnna Cruz, popping the head back to Chavez with the uppercut. And a beautiful left hook.
But what she did, exactly, she showed the body shot with the right hand, came up with the same right hand up the middle with a lot
of short, crisp shots are being landed by LeAnna Cruz here. Let's not be fooled by the blood splatter. Maybe she has a broken nose.
Nah, I'm just saying that in those rounds when I was talking, Chavez was doing better. That's all. That's all I was saying.
I mean, outside of the first round, can you say that Chavez won any of the following rounds?
I don't know. Maybe first and second. Maybe.
No, I don't think she won the second round. Maybe this one.
Well, take a look at the punch stats here. Chavez outthrowing LeAnna Cruz 396 to 254. The landed punches in favor of Cruz to this point, 107 to 103.
And even though they're very close as far as punches landed,
like last
power shots are being landed by LeAnna Cruz.
There you go.
Personally, I think judges should score, give points to fighters that are showing great defense, meaning slipping shots and answering back. When we were coming up, make them miss, make them pay. LeAnna's done a lot of that tonight.
Round 6 underway.
Defense, huh?
Yeah.
It is one of the four scoring tenets, of course.
Great defense. You won that round. Now Whitaker has won rounds without throwing too many punches.
He lands shots, that's why.
It's right hand from Chavez. There from LeAnna Cruz. Both women promised a knockout in this fight, and they're fighting like they are hunting for one.
Absolutely. And, credit to Chavez, she hasn't stopped that pace that she started with from the very beginning. Whether getting hit or not, she's still continuing.
The only difference right now is that LeAnna's actually pushing Ronnie Chavez back a little bit.
Yes. And she's landing the harder shots. Now, we don't know what damage is being done, but good body attack. Followed by right hand, looping back by Leanna.
Slipping shots, catching shots.
That's what I'm trying to say. You got to really watch this fight. Ignore the blood. She seems like she might have a broken nose.
I said that was early.
I'm not talking about you. I'm talking to the audience watching. Stop it. I'm not talking about you. I'm speaking to the judge sitting next to me.
She came in with blood.
Left hook to the body there from Cruz again. There is a consistency and a confidence about Chavez's work, though. No matter what she gets hit with, she stays the course and just keeps throwing.
Because that's how she wins fights. She has literally won fights like that, just over-pressuring her opponent, just pressuring her too much. That was good body work by Chavez right there. This is a fight. These girls are very conditioned.
LeAnna's showing how tough she is as well.
Imagine if this was 3-minute rounds.
Yeah,
I don't know.
What a fight, guys. Great choice for the main event.
Let's see what this round looked like. Beautiful right hand by LeAnna there. So you see she slips before she throws the shots and then gets out of range. Slipper shots, catch a shot. She caught that shot, but those two shots got in by Chavez. This was a great fight.
Round 7 now underway. And we are getting word that the YouTube poll, viewers at home who are voting, that poll right now, at least, is in favor of Chavez.
I'm sorry, fellas. I do not agree with that. Good, entertaining, competitive fight, though.
Chavez balances her pro boxing career with a full-time school workload. She lands another right hand there. She's majoring in psychology.
Good body attack, Cruz.
Chavez, back comes Cruz with a counter right hand up top. Pace slowing just slightly here in this round.
I like to see how Compton scores punches landed sometimes.
Punch that's,
I don't see that. Just the shots being landed by Chavez.
I hear what you're saying, but one thing you do see by the punch that's is that Chavez is throwing a lot more punches, but Cruz is making a miss.
A lot. Watch this. Right hand clean landed from LeAnna Cruz. Another one, another left hook, another right hand.
Chavez snuck a jab in there.
What an exchange here on the inside.
Good combination by Chavez.
The thing is that she's not able to hurt Chavez, so it's not looking.
No, but it is looking good. Like those punches that was just landed by Chavez looked like arm punches, and it didn't look like it hurt bruise as well, but you do see the blood coming out.
And I think
but it's not from punches that hurt her.
Exactly.
And we take a look at the YouTube poll, and still, as of right now, 53% of voters feel that Regina Chavez is ahead right now, 47%.
I love my
LeAnna
voters,
Cruz.
but that's why they don't judge for a living.
Fans are different. Fans judge street fight mentality,
yes.
You know, where they're looking at blood, they're looking at a knockdown, you know?
Exactly. I agree.
I mean, those are also two good indicators, guy. I mean,
well, if you have
I feel like you're making the point that Chavez, that Cruz is landing the harder shots, but the people viewing at home, they've seen Chavez knock her down, possibly break her nose. Clearly, she's landing impactful shots as well.
And I just think that the blood and the broken nose can sway a casual fan.
Certainly, yeah, in the other rounds, absolutely. Round 8 now underway.
Yeah, in the beginning, I said that bloody nose was for a reason, that she was really getting caught. You know, but then she kind of took over.
Straight 1-2, landed beautifully by LeAnna Cruz. Slipping shots. That left hook to the body's been landing all night. But it hasn't slowed Chavez down yet.
No way. Wow. She didn't come all the way from Mexico to lay down.
Oh no.
Good body work there from Cruz. You can see Chavez hunching over. And Cruz now playing to the crowd.
She was looking over here, looking at the crowd.
I think she might even blow over here at the crowd. Her boyfriend, I think.
Yeah, blew a kiss over here over the crowd at her boyfriend and throwing body shots at the same time.
Gotta love it.
Like, just imagine the pain that Cruz is fighting through right now.
Oh, cutting off the ring and keeping her on the ropes.
She said that Chavez wouldn't last 10 rounds. She's realizing that this is a fight that's going to go to distance.
Yeah, when Chavez heard that Cruz said she was going to knock her out in under 4, she just laughed.
Yeah,
I think she knows something about her own punch resistance.
She says, I just start getting warmed up after 4 rounds.
Another right hand there from Cruz over the top. They trade left hooks.
I think it was a headbutt maybe to the eye.
And Chavez, I think, collided. Yeah, that is a clash of heads. As we head back into the corners. Well, the undisputed world heavyweight champion Claressa Shields will defend her belts against IBF light heavyweight champion Lanny Daniels on July 27th in Detroit, Michigan. And you can catch it live on DAZN, the home of combat sports, broadcasting over 185 fights a year from the world's best promoters.
Stephen Fulton came over to the corner of LeAnna Cruz to offer some advice. You know, telling LeAnna Cruz, kick the legs out, relax.
Well, it's a community effort here in Philadelphia as they hope to crown an interim world champion. Allentown, Pennsylvania's own LeAnna Cruz, very much a Philly fighter who just ripped another excellent right hand and now goes back to the body of Regina Chavez, who just doesn't stop throwing regardless of what you hit her with.
Right, and the reason why these shots are looking better from LeAnna Cruz is because they are better because of the balance, just proper balance. Now, a lot of times Chavez just leans in and she squares up just a little bit. The balance is not there to throw the harder shots.
And that's the difference in a fight, in my opinion.
And that's sometimes. She tends to lead in, you know, and she doesn't have perfect balance when she's throwing the shots.
I think most of the time she doesn't have that much leverage on the shots. But still fighting, still a great fight in Chavez. Great clean shots landed by LeAnna. Left hook followed by right loop.
Chavez has an amazing beard.
I think what we're seeing, to your point as well, is Cruz is kind of taking advantage of the volume of Chavez in a sense. When you throw as much as Chavez does, you have to sacrifice something.
Absolutely.
And Cruz is finding those little edges, those little lanes that she is sacrificing in order to throw as much as she is.
Yeah, she is hot in that kitchen, and she's going to take risks by letting all those shots go. And LeAnna's landing the harder, more leveraged shots. Not hurting her, but they're obvious.
Final 20 seconds of round 9.
I'll tell you what, LeAnna Cruz has showed us something tonight that she hasn't shown us yet in her career, how much of a dog she is.
And also she's showing that she has less experience.
Yes.
And she's probably the better boxer.
No question. From fighting at bars to fighting for titles.
It's one thing to be a natural, to be natural, skillful, maybe even naturally athletic, but to show that you have heart like this.
Fighting a fighter to turn professional at 14 years old.
Trainer's dream, yeah, yeah.
There's cool boy Steph.
He just took a deep breath right there. I think he's nervous for her. This is a good fight.
Stephen Fulton dialed into this fight.
Yes.
And final round of what has been a banger of a fight here between LeAnna Cruz and Regina Chavez with the interim WBA super flyweight title hanging in the balance.
I'm more impressed with LeAnna Cruz in this performance than any other fight of her career, guys.
She's fighting a girl that, you know, probably in most eyes should be a champion right now. And in my opinion, she's actually dominating.
This is a perfect example of Chavez throwing 4 or 5 shots that didn't land clean.
And look at Cruz just swimming in that middle lane here and landing those uppercuts to the body. Back comes Chavez with her trademark volume.
I didn't think it was going to be very easy for her to swim without getting wet with this much volume coming at her. But she's definitely shown a lot of skill set.
Nice uppercut there. Back comes Chavez with a chopping right hand that gets the blood flowing from the nose of Cruz once again.
Good body attack by LeAnna Cruz, even in this last round.
That's about 6 punches landed to the body. Combination there from Cruz. Final 30 seconds of this contest.
Chavez really eats these shots.
For breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And a late night snack.
10 seconds remaining in the contest.
I think she signaled, stand here and bang. That's what LeAnna just said.
She said, I got cojones.
Both women accepted that invitation all night long. What a fight. Cruz and Chavez.
Ooh, that was a great fight. Amazing fight. Respect. You can't help but respect your opponent after a fight like that. In my opinion, I think LeAnna took over the fight in a competitive fight.
Let's see what our YouTube viewers are thinking. They still believe that Regina Chavez has done enough to win this one. 54% of voters feeling that. And listen, what a story it would be for LeAnna Cruz if she has indeed pulled this one out. You think back to that first round. You couldn't ask for a worse start. Between the knockdown and a bad injury that, again, in talking to Cruz's corner during the fight, Brian Cohen said they believe that there's a tear. I mean, LeAnna Cruz could be headed to surgery right after this, and to have bounced back and fought for 9 rounds afterwards the way she did would be a remarkable bounce back.
She went into the corner after the first round. They did an MRI real quick.
Yes.
And she came back out and she dug deep and she brought that dog out. That's what she did.
Let's take a look at some of the highlights from this one, and really this entire fight is a highlight tape.
Oh, what a good shot. Yes, she did wince with that knee, but she got caught, and what made her go down was the shot. Chavez made it very tough for her with those shots. I believe this is like the second round where she bloodied up that nose, and she was landing a lot of shots. And it was the adjustments that LeAnna made, and it was slight adjustments. It was really like catching the shots, moving your head, getting your head off the line. Just a beautiful performance. I don't see how she didn't win this fight.
All right, the scorecards are in the hands of Ray Flores. Let's send it up.
Gone 10 rounds, we go to the scorecards. Here are your score totals. Judge at ringside, Steve Weisfeld has it 95-94. Judge Dewey LaRosa has it 97-92. And Lynn Carter scores it 96-93 for your winner by unanimous decision. And still undefeated, LeAnna Cruz.
She pulled it off. LeAnna Cruz victorious here in Philadelphia. You heard the scores. 95-94, 97-92, and 96-93. A tremendous fight as LeAnna Cruz becomes the interim WBA champion.
96-93 sounds about right. Very good performance by Ronnie as well. She kept that pressure on. I just think the smarter fighter won this one. She was defensively minded, but she let her hands go in the right moments. I mean, she really showed that she's a really good fighter.
Yeah, that was Philadelphia boxing. You think about what a Philly fighter is.
Yeah.
There's that slickness
yeah.
with those corrugated edges at the same time. LeAnna Cruz, the embodiment of a Philadelphia fighter here tonight. And Regina Chavez, let's give Regina her flowers as well. Not that there are any consolation prizes in boxing, but she's always talked about how she idolized Ana Maria Torres, not just for accomplishments, but for how entertaining she was. She played her role here tonight. But we're going to hear from LeAnna Cruz, who's standing by with us.
All right, first off, congratulations. What a fight. How do you rate your performance tonight?
I mean, I definitely unlocked another level of myself, so I'll give myself a 9 out of 10 because there is no perfection with me, and I always seek to be perfect and keep getting better. So I'll never have a 10 out of 10 performance for me, but I'll definitely give myself a 9 out of 10. She's a hell of a fighter, and really, her record doesn't even speak for her skill set, and she was robbed 2 times. So honestly, right now, I should be walking out as a champion, and she should be defending her belt. So she unlocked a new level of LeAnna Cruz for sure.
Yeah, and that was my next question. You know, it seemed like a little bad blood going into this fight, but obviously you need that type of energy going into this type of fight. But how much respect for you have for a fighter like Chavez?
I didn't have actually any bad blood. I had more, you know, I felt bad for the girl. You know, she's 21 years old, got robbed 2 times, and that could break anybody regardless of their age. And, you know, for her to continue going and then have to fight somebody like me, like I said, I felt bad for her. So I do still have a lot of respect for her, and there is no bad blood, and I wish her the best. And, you know, one day she'll be a champion, but she'll never be a champion against me.
Tell us what happened in that first round. It seems like there was a scare. It counted as a knockdown. It seems like you grabbed your knee. What happened in that first round?
I heard a snap in my knee. My knee snapped. Like, I don't know what happened, but my knee snapped, and I really can't put all the pressure on my left leg right now. So the last 9 rounds, I had to really dig deep and make sure my knee didn't give out again.
Did you feel like your nose might be broken? There's a lot of blood coming out of your nose throughout the fight.
No, I was actually, after my nap in the warm-up room, my nose was bleeding. So my nose will bleed for nothing, honestly.
it seems like she couldn't hurt you in a fight, even though the blood looked like it was gruesome, but you were the one applying the pressure and landing the cleaner, effective shots. And there was a lot of you catching in the pocket and shooting. Phenomenal skill level that you showed the less experienced fighter, and you were the better boxer tonight. So what do you want next?
I want Jasmine Ortega, and I want Mizuki Haruta next. Y'all are on my list, and y'all need to stop fucking ducking, because you already know what's gonna happen when y'all are in the ring with me.
Can you send a message out to everybody that came out to show some support tonight here in Philadelphia?
Oh my God, you guys are everything to me, man. I would not keep, if you all knew the trials and tribulations I went through this camp, and I had to make sure I put on a show for you guys, so everything I do for you guys, so keep supporting me. Like I said, you guys are everything to me.
You impressed me tonight. Phenomenal performance, LeAnna.
Thank you so much.
Guys.
Thank you so much, Ak. A tremendous main event between LeAnna Cruz and Regina Chavez. An unbelievable effort from LeAnna Cruz, again, considering everything that she's dealing with, between the bloody nose, the knee, to gut that one out. What a performance from LeAnna Cruz as we take a look back at the CompuBox punch stats. And of course, these are going to be quite interesting. You see the volume that we talked about from Regina Chavez, outthrowing LeAnna Cruz 689 to 458. But look at the accuracy of LeAnna Cruz, landing 41% of her shots. Generally speaking, when you land 41% of your shots, you're going to win the fight. I'm sure there's an outlier in CompuBox history, but they are few and far between.
Right, and for Cruz to land the same amount of punches, rather Chavez to land the same amount of punches as Cruz, she had to throw 231 punches more.
Right.
That was just an excellent display of defense, and then her punches just wasn't telling the same story as LeAnna's punches.
What a main event it was between LeAnna Cruz and Regina Chavez. A night full of action, a night of knockouts early, and then an action fight to wrap things up. Of course, Keith Colon kicking things off for us earlier on with that knockout victory over Robin Ellis. Tyreme Haywood with a nasty body shot knockout, and Tamir Smalls getting rid of a Clarence Booth as well. Kurt Scooby with a bounce-back victory over Haskell Rhodes. Israel Mercado taking the win over Brandon Pizarro. And then our interim world title fight, LeAnna Cruz with a victory over Regina Chavez. For my broadcast colleagues, Ak and Barack, and our producer, Lauren O'Connor, I'm Corey Erdman saying so long, and we'll see you at the fights.
Listen up. Let's have it. You know you've always got your eye on the prize, the championship belt. And why wouldn't you? You're a finely tuned, well-oiled boxing watching machine. Capable of consuming over 185 fights on DAZN every year.
We've gone big. We've gone global.
Churning through combinations, comebacks, and non-stop knockouts.
Are you going to take?
With big fights every week, you're the best in the world. So go on, get that belt. Champ DAZN. Undisputed.